Hey, it is the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast. We're back, and with me is
Oh yeah, the Ayatollah of alcohol, Wadzilla, baby. What's up, Ralph?
you need to fix your settings again because the last episode was the same thing. I didn't hear the.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm opening up bottles. It's not the same as the can. There's no big
Um,
it
right.
is what it is.
So Ian, let me introduce our guest this week.
Go ahead.
He's on a lot of shows, man. Sea of Tranquility. He's on. I saw that Sea of Tranquility the other day where they were asking you all, what do you prefer, Ozzy or Sabbath? What's your favorite album? And that was a good episode. Ralfus got arrested going to a Black Sabbath concert. He got arrested. But anyway, that was a good story.
We got to do a whole episode on just stories like that. I could definitely fill a whole episode of getting arrested at shows or blacking out at shows or getting in fights or whatever.
I only got arrested once, and it was on a city bus, and I was underage, so I went to juvie. That's fucking bullshit, you know. That's for little babies, you know. Seriously. I was in juvenile, and it was like I was there for a little while, and all I did was sit there going, "My dad's gonna beat my ass." That's all I thought the whole time. I was more scared of my dad than juvenile. I didn't want them to release me, you know. But anyway, I was in the middle of the introduction. He's on a lot of shows, and he's on Almost Human Live every Thursday on the Almost Human channel. Count Ralfus is with us tonight.
Hey, I gotta apologize to this guy
Yeah,
because
you should.
there was an episode where I was going off. I was like, "Ah, fuck Count Ralphus," but I had you confused with a total another dude who's like Count somebody, like Count the Money, Count Dracula. I don't know. There's some other dude that Ralph told me about that sounded like a real douche. And when he was talking about you, I thought it was the same Count, but it's a totally different Count. But you're a really cool dude. So yeah, I apologize for that episode where I was talking shit because I was thinking of somebody else. But thank
Yeah,
you for joining us,
most
brother.
people that put the count, most people that put count in front of their name are douches. But it was like the only reason I it's not like a trying to be a cool thing or like Count Grishnak or something evil or some shit. I got married in Transylvania in Halloween in 2003, in Transylvania. So when I came home, my buddy, every time he see me, he would say Count Ralphie. He would say it in like Bela Lugosi accent. So it just became Count Ralphie. But I don't like Ralphie. I like Ralphus because the little midget from Bloodsucking Freak. So
Love
that
bloodsucking
became the
freaks.
nickname.
That's awesome. Uh, when I was a kid, I had a friend constantly call me Homo Ralph, but I was like, no, I don't want to be known as Homo Ralph. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
no more Homo Ralph. All
But
right.
that was Mark Allen Taylor that called you that. So that
From
what's
um,
he?
from America's podcast, Freeform Rock and Metal Combat. Well, no, Rock and Metal Combat Podcast is the American Kings podcast.
Yeah.
Like, the peasants. Freeform Peasant Podcast of America.
Yeah, Freeform is like the
When I was in
Crips of
school,
Guam.
Go ahead, Ralph.
when I was in school, every time this one black kid walked past me, he'd go Ralph, like he was throwing up on me. He just did it. It wasn't being like a dig, it just being funny.
I don't know about you, dude, but I think Ralph's the worst name ever, man. I hate my name. It's like, yeah, if somebody's throwing up, I think they're calling me. Or if I'm walking the street and a fucking dog barks, I'm like, who's calling me? I don't like
you,
my name. I
you
don't.
can't, you can't be confused with a girl's name. Like so many guys' names are girls' names now too.
Yeah.
Alex and Sam and this and that. There's no girl Ralphs.
And
And it's
and Ian. There's a lot of chicks named Ian.
No, there's not. But there's a lot of fags named Sammy.
And Ralph. Homo Ralph. So yeah, so this week I'll get up in a second because I'm lazy. I got the album right over there. I'll listen to it now. We're gonna review later The Revenge of Alice Cooper which is the return of the Alice Cooper band, but not really so much the sound. But you'll hear about that later. But we're gonna do the news first because we ain't got no iTunes reviews. You still go look over there.
I do. I just looked today.
I
I,
guess still go look there.
I did. I don't like shit change. It's so funny. Like even like Facebook is, where we have our most success, like social media wise. But like I work with like these young pieces of shit. What do the kids like to be called now? Fags. I work with a lot of figs, and Facebook is like old people shit to them. They're all on the Twitter, the X, the whatever the fuck. Fuck them anyway because they listen to shit music. But no, I don't know where else to go, so I look on iTunes. But yeah, the last iTunes review we got was probably about 10 months ago. After I made a joke about Andrew Jacobs, he came back on and made another shitty review about us.
I can't believe. Yeah, you know why? Because that's the only person that still goes to iTunes. Nobody else does. You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
only cycle that would do that. So
Yeah.
nobody reads this. Nobody. The only person that reads comments on iTunes is fucking Ian. That's it. That shit's a dead art. I remember going to iTunes a lot of times, checking out our comments and other comments from podcasts. I don't go to iTunes now worth a shit. If I want to
Well,
listen,
they don't even call it that anymore. It's like podcast, but I mean everything switched to YouTube. If you ain't on YouTube, you ain't shit. Which is what it is now. And I'm glad we made that switch. And it's kind of funky, like because I always try to judge how our episodes are doing. And it's pretty much split now between our YouTube version and our podcast version. But if you add the numbers together, it's about the same. We're still doing really good, but the numbers are split.
I did notice that, like, I don't know, like a month or two ago. I said, let's see how many YouTube views we have and how many Podbean.
Yeah.
And that week, whatever show it was up well over 1,000. It was maybe 1,200. That was a little better than normal.
Well, when we were straight up like podcast shit, it was over 1,000. And now, since we've been doing both formats, it's about what and what, but it adds up to the same. So we're not doing any better. We're not doing any less. But as long as it's getting through to people.
Yeah, well, that's how I wanted to stay, Ian, as I told you.
Yeah.
And finally, you came around and agreed with
yeah.
no new fans. We want no. Ralfus is the last guy. He's the last dude. No new fans because I brought Ian to Almost Human, and he offended so many motherfuckers. And our viewers don't get offended. They get the joke. They know Ian's not a fucking racist. They know he's an idiot, but that's what we love about him. And and he got a little too drunk and he said some stuff, that, doesn't offend our listeners. So that's why I want nobody new, because there's too many offensive jackoffs. Leave them at the bay, you know what I mean? That's it. Our fan base is complete. Nobody else is let in.
I tell you what, I used to hate when you said that, like no new people. And I'm like, no, man, I want more people to hear our show, until I went on your show. And I'm like, you know what, Ralph? You're right. Because on Almost Human, there's a lot of Sammy Hagar people on there, and I don't bode well with them, So you're absolutely right. I would rather like have our core thing and do what we do than have to censor myself for the masses. And again, I said that, the last episode, like, I'm really sorry that I caused all that much trouble on your channel, because your channel is so big and you get revenue from that. We do this show for passion. There ain't no fucking money here. But, I'd rather stick with them motherfuckers who don't get offended. You're absolutely right. I think we found our niche. Let's stay with it. I don't care if we get bigger. I just want to be able to do our show the way we do it, where people get the shit, people don't get offended. we can say whatever, and they know it's all in good fun. We're not mean spirited
Yeah, they know.
unless you
They,
like Sammy Hagar, then die. You know.
Yeah,
by the
yeah. So I'm on Sea of Tranquility, the Hudson Valley Squares. They got over 100,000 subscribers. So when
Right.
you say something the tiniest bit controversial, or if you make a mistake, you give the wrong year, there'll be like 50 people correcting you in the comments. They got like I've been on shows there where they had like over 1,000 comments, and like I said, they try to correct you. Like they don't read through everybody's comments. They just say the same thing over and over and over again. And
well,
the few times where I got into like little arguments or whatever, and had disagreements with people, like you get so much hate. It's unbelievable. Like so, as far as keeping it small and shit, you got your true audience and stuff that doesn't cry about every little fucking thing, but I gotta like bite my tongue all the time on Sea Tranquility just because like I just know how sensitive there's some people are out there, and I've gotten attacked a bunch of times on there in the comments. You learn to just be like, yeah, fuck all these idiots. Whoever's sitting there fucking typing away crying about something on YouTube, it's like get a fucking life. It's one thing
Yeah.
to hit like on a video or something, but who spends the time to sit there and cry about something unless you got like a point to make? Those people are such losers. It's like you don't need all of them, believe me.
dude,
Right.
seriously, I deal with that at minimum 4 times, sometimes daily, but 4 times a week. I'll get comments like that over and over and over, and it's like, don't you guys read comments?
Yeah.
Now, a
Yeah.
million people just said this. And now it's got to the point. Look, I get bombarded with these track by tracks I got to do, and there's times, man, I caught myself the other day. I write down the songs, right? I caught myself the other day because I skipped a song on the paper, and I go, wait a second, I didn't talk about this song, and I go, you know what? That happened to me before, where I would skip a song and I'd get 100 comments. Hey, where's this song? People would actually say, where's this song? It's up your ass. What do you mean, where's this song? Oh, you forgot this song. Okay, all right, I can accept that. But where's this song? Fuck, you know? But
Yeah.
yeah,
And that.
YouTube is full. But here's another thing, and it's very important. We live in a world today that has more psychotic people than ever. And I'll give you an example.
Yes.
I left a comment. I said, I don't care. I just don't care what political view you have. We can still be friends, right? One guy left a comment. No, fuck that, not me. The people are brainwashed. Blah, 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 blah. That's what we deal with on YouTube. People psychotic like that. They're just crazy. They're just crazy people. It's like, I don't know, people out there, the whole look, it's one thing to be political. Okay, I get it. But when you're a radical political person, you get so radical about it, you're kind of fucking psychotic. You got this bad bug in you, and you suck. But unfortunately, you
Yeah.
suck. But your mother sucked more. So, hey,
Yeah,
what?
it's like that TDS though, and all that stuff. It's on both sides. They just let that politics live in their head all the time. It's one thing that I
Oh,
watch the news like religiously. I pay attention to what's going on, but I don't let it fucking live in my head. And I don't need to put my views out there like I'm going to change one fucking person on
yeah,
Facebook or something because
that's the
I'm going to.
thing.
It's
That's the
stupid.
thing. That's the thing I try to tell people. What the fuck are you going to change on Facebook? Go to City
Yeah,
Hall. Go to your local congressman. Do something that way. Getting on fucking
yeah,
Facebook saying it is only going to piss off people. It's just
Well,
yeah.
the
and
thing,
I think.
and the thing about it, dude. It's not Democrats. It's not Republicans. It's both. The
Oh yeah.
radicals on both sides are fucking insane. They're crazy people. They really are. It's doomsday for both sides. Every
It's the
fucking.
same thing with religion. It's like I have plenty of friends that are Jewish or Christian, Catholic, whatever, but it's like it's the extremists with it or the fucking pain in the ass. I'm totally for freedom of religion. Worship whatever the fuck you want, but don't be a radical version of it because then you're just going to be an annoying asshole, and I don't need to be around those. That I hate like organized religion in that way, but I don't mind. Most my family's all Catholic, and so I don't. It doesn't they don't bother me at all because of their beliefs. It's just the ones that are going to judge you on everything you do because you don't think like them or believe the same. They're the fucking people that suck, you know.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. My second memory in life, my first memory in life was the Beatles, seeing them play on transistor radio as far. But my second memory in life, this is when I lived up in Tarrytown, New York, up there in upstate New York. My mom took me to an A&P. You know what? Remember A&P?
Yep.
Mhm.
Ass and penis. My mom took me to one, right? And there's a guy in the front yelling at us with a sign saying, Jesus is coming back. That was my second memory in life. And I was telling my mom, what the hell is that about? My mom's like, no, he's right, because my mom's very religious. Oh yeah, he's coming back. That's my second memory in life. That was like maybe 58 years ago. I have my beliefs though, and I'm not shitting on anybody with their beliefs. But my whole point of this matter is let's get into the news.
Well, I want to make a point before we go on. What bothers me the most is I think you should be able to say how you feel. Like, I know I'm not going to change anybody, but I should be able to voice my opinion without losing friends. And that's the worst thing is I have plenty of friends that I've known since childhood who have very opposing views from me. And I still love them. I mean, they are my friend. I don't agree with them. I think they're totally wrong, but I would never turn my back on them because these are people I've known my entire fucking life.
But
It's
but some of them turned their back on you, I bet.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I remember like when we started the podcast, we lost about 20 people. And I know that's small potatoes, but we lost like 20 people I know offhand in 2016 because I said I didn't like Trump, that like quit the page, quit all this shit. Oh, fuck this podcast. Because I said what I said, and I'm like, and there's people, like I said, I've known my whole life that, unfriended me because of this shit. And I didn't unfriend that, even though I'm very sturdy in my fucking beliefs. I believe that way, but I know not everybody feels like I do, but I feel like I should be able to say whatever the fuck I want to say. And if you love me, you still love me. You're not going to disown me because of this shit, because I'm not going to disown them because they vote for somebody I think is, terrible. I don't give a fuck. And I should be able to say whatever, and they can say whatever. We're still friends. As long as you don't like Sammy Hagar, I don't give a fuck. Or you're
Well,
French.
it's the same thing with like all the bands out there that all of a sudden election season comes and everybody has to come out and start fucking speaking for this candidate or that candidate. And then people like won't like that band no more because they're against their candidate. It's like I'm not gonna stop liking something that I've liked for 50 years, 40 years, because he doesn't vote the same way as me.
Right.
It's like I still love those albums. They're part of me. And it's like, who cares what they fucking I don't know why they feel they're so important. It's their egos get so important that they need to put it out there who they vote for and stuff.
Right.
I remember when I was growing up, you didn't know what if someone was a Republican or a Democrat unless they couldn't shut up about politics. But when you were
Right.
growing up, like you just didn't know. Like people it was like kind of secret who you voted for because you didn't want to get into arguments with people. But now it's like some people make it their whole fucking existence is to just be fucking arguing with people.
Yeah,
Well, Ralphus,
my point,
I'm
real quick. My point is, nothing will make me hate a band. I've said it a million times. If I was to only own records from people that weren't douchebags, I'd only own Rush albums. You know what I mean? I would never hate a band over thing. But there's one thing that'll happen to me that'll make me hate a band. If you get mad at me making a Brian Wilson joke, then fuck you and fuck your band.
Oh, and I gotta laugh at that because after the fallout of me, coming on Almost Human, then you have fallout with two people that like you've met, that you've hung out with, that you're friends with,
Yeah.
have fallout with you over posts you made that had nothing to do with politics. It was all like but it was your sense of humor.
Yeah.
You know, and
And,
the same way with me, you know, but God, I got my ass fucking, you know, taken down on your page, but then I had just as many people lift me up. But then the same shit happened to you, only it wasn't political. And like I said, I think yours was even worse because, like I said, these are people you have met. These are people you know that they know you support them,
yeah.
promote them, you know, are a fan, but because they don't like a joke. And that's what I don't get. Like, Ralphus, I don't know how old you are. I imagine you're close to us, though. But when we came up in the 80s, there was no like pro Reagan rock. You know, it was like fuck everybody, you know?
Oh yeah.
And jokes were like fucking, you know, it was Andrew Dice Clay. It was shit like that. There was no sacred cows. You know, nobody got offended back then, you know? But now these little COVID babies got to wear a fucking helmet to ride a bicycle. And, you know, they're just soft as baby shit. Fuck them. I don't care. I don't care who the fuck I offend. And I don't care if like the joke I made I'm serious about or I'm just joking because there's both. You know, there's some like I'm dead serious. That's how I feel. And others I'm just like I'm having fun. But if you get offended either way, I could give a flying fuck. But I will say this. What I do on the podcast and what I do on YouTube is purely for my own pleasure and what I like. Ralph has a very successful channel that makes money and does all this. That's why I felt bad because I don't want to fuck with anybody's money. I don't care who you are. I don't want to fuck with your money.
But
But God,
you'll fuck my mom.
I would and I did. Um, you know, but no, I mean that's a shame of it. But that's when, you know, Ralph, you made me see the light. You said no more new fans. I'm like, okay. Okay. And I'm sure we'll still get a couple and hopefully they sneak in. But yeah,
I
fuck
mean,
all these
hey,
motherfuckers.
the door is wide open on YouTube. Either you get it or you don't. You know, if you watch it on YouTube, you
Yeah.
get it or you don't. That's it. But if you're gonna complain and shit, I'm gonna have to make you disappear. Like fucking get you and send you to the cornfield, Twilight Zone style.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You're
Hey,
a bad man. You're a really bad man.
Ralphus, by the way, before we go on, how old are you, brother, if you don't mind me asking?
55. I was
Okay.
born the same week as the first Black Sabbath album, and the Doors,
Awesome.
Morrison Hotel were both released the week I was born.
Awesome. So you're right between me and Ralph, which means you're a man. I like that.
And
You don't
really
get
quick about
offended.
that whole Brian Wilson thing, it's like if you're friends with Ralph, the guy posts like jokes all day, every day. Like even if you're offended by it, you know he's joking. Like if he doesn't if he really hated fucking Brian Wilson, he wouldn't even mention him, you know? It's totally just fucking joking and making, you know, he that's what he does. And it's like what to be offended by that, you're one of those people that look to find something to get offended by every chance you can. You go into the fucking grocery store, you look around for something to fucking offend you. Everywhere you go, you're looking for something to offend you. If you're gonna get offended by somebody who fucking jokes nonstop, that's what it fucking he's the joke that fucking cries about that.
I saw Ralph make a post where he said, he goes, I don't like Sammy Hagar, but the first Montrose album is good. I laughed my ass off. I didn't get offended. I knew he was kidding.
I said, if I ever wrote something like that, I'd say that first Montrose album is good, but Sammy Hagar ruins it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh,
Even that, you know, you could polish a turd, but I know he's making fun of it. I know he doesn't like that shit. Nobody likes that shit. It's fucking garbage.
the
Yeah,
first,
we did a summertime jams episode on the Rock Fantasy Files this week, and Tony, I had Van Halen as my number one pick. I think they're a perfect summertime band, but Tony did too, and he had the early David Lee Roth, but he also pulled out 5150, and he was like, "Ralph's gonna hate me for this one," you know, meaning you Ralph, not me. But he was like,
yeah,
but he held up 5150 as a summer album, and I was like,
Well,
"Ooh."
5150 is a summertime jam it up your ass kind of album, you know, because if you like that shit, you're a fig.
sideways. You got to insert the cassette sideways up your ass, not
Yeah.
right, sideways. And here's the funny thing about the whole Brian Wilson thing. My post actually said, "I wish he was still alive." That's what I said in a post. I said, "I wish Brian Wilson was still alive, so I don't have to see this barbershop quartet crap all over my Facebook." That's what I said. I was like, Rest in peace. I wish he was still alive." Some guy who I love his band. I even paid for VIP several times. And he knows who I am and he knows I'm a fan. He did a little jab at me like a year prior. But this time he didn't even say a word. He deleted me, but he went and made a post about me. And my friend Eve, who's still friends with him, wrote me going, "Dude, he wrote this shit." And then she went to go look and he deleted it like right away. But he wrote this whole thing about me. He didn't say my name, but he said, "Oh, I was a really big fan of Armin said, I don't care how much you're a fan. Make fun of Brian Wilson, you're gone." And making fun. I wanted him to be alive.
How dare you? Like Brother
If somebody
Thunberg, you
said,
know?
"I'm
How
glad
dare
Brian
you?
Wilson is dead," then okay. But I said, "I wish he was still alive." You know?
Who cares what the fuck you said? You're a paying customer. You can say whatever the fuck you want to be.
No, no, no,
Whatever you want
no.
to do.
Oh, correction. I was a paying customer.
But you still like the band.
I'm not going to support them though. If they come, I'm not going to see them anymore. If they release something new, I'm not going to buy anymore. That's the one exception, man. The one exception. It's like, fuck, yes, I'll play. And by the way, my favorite album from that band doesn't feature him. Ah, so I can play that story. Anyway,
All right.
the news.
All right. Let's see what's in the news. Probably not a lot because the news is going to get sad because there's no new good bands, and all we're going to see in the next 5 years is our heroes dying. So I'm not even excited to look. Like, here's a story. This is so terrible. Mike Tramp's decision on to release Songs of White Lion Volume 3. Jesus Christ, do we really need a Volume 3 of this shit?
Did
Who
we?
the fuck wants to hear White Lion Volume 1?
Yeah.
What a horrible fucking band.
Did we need?
Horrible fucking band.
Did we need a volume one and two? You know?
Yeah, but there's nothing more. This is like the guy from Danger Danger, like the bass player. Like, here's 10 more covers, volume 3 from Danger Danger. My name's Ted Smith, or whoever. Who gives a fuck? Fucking Mike Tramp. White Lion sucks. Vito Brada's not that fucking good. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. The best thing that happened to him is his mom got sick. That way he has an excuse not to play guitar anymore. He's fucking horrible. White Lion fucking sucks cock. I don't care. He's
Hell yeah.
probably fucking Palestinian.
Yeah, but I'm sure Mike Trent wouldn't get offended by a Brian Wilson joke, so I'd support him before I support that other band.
Yeah, he wouldn't get offended because he wouldn't understand it because he's fucking Icelandic or whatever. He doesn't even speak proper English. Fuck him. I hope ICE deports his ass for releasing White Lion songs. Fuck him. That's what I think.
I seen White Lion in like
Oh, I'm
1983
sorry.
or 1983 or 1984. Never liked him, never owned anything by him. But I seen him, I think, before they even had an album out. They were opening up for Crocus on the Blitz tour. And that was the show that actually got showed on MTV back in the day, but not the White Lion. But I remember when White Lion came out, I thought it was a Van Halen tribute band. They looked like Mike Tramp dressed just like David Lee Roth. He jumped around like David. All you seen was the blonde hair, and then that guitar player that looked like an older Eddie Van Halen up there, and he was wailing away. But it was like, yeah, they just looked like a Van Halen worship band, and I never ended up buying any of their shit when it came out.
I'm going to call him Brown Lion, and then I'm going to call ICE and get their fucking ass kicked out of the country. Fuck them.
Albino Lion.
All you got to do is send an MP3 to ICE saying, "Deport this guy," and the MP3 is when the children cry.
Yeah.
Little
Now, if I said something bad about White Lion right now on Sea of Tranquility, I would get like 500 people saying, "You don't even play an instrument. What the fuck you know? They're the greatest. That guy's the best." He's the blah, blah." They would cry and cry and cry. So I would just like keep my mouth shut on that show, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? When they say like, "Oh, you don't even play an instrument," go, "Yeah, I don't even suck a dick either." You know, yeah, I'm not a White Lion fan.
hey,
I got it. I got ears. That's all I need to be a music
Yeah,
critic.
exactly.
hey, Ralfus, here you can say what the fuck you want. And if
Yep,
any,
I'm getting that. I'm getting the hang of it. I'm ready to go. I've
and,
been
and,
needing this.
and if anybody gets mad, I'm gonna send you the cornfield Twilight Zone style. You understand? Because I am the master of the YouTube page. So is Ian, but he doesn't know how to log in. He's kind of dumb. But
Yeah, I
I,
don't.
I manage that shit. And I delete people who leave snarly comments. Anyway,
Yeah.
so the news.
Okay, so next one we got to talk about. I want to watch it. I'm going to watch it after this episode, but I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. What happened with Dave? How was it? You went to see David Lee Roth. Give me the skinny.
Woo. Number one, it was a great show. The band was extremely tight. Boys to Men back there made the show for me. Like during
Yeah,
school, they're like, going fucking, they were just awesome. Dave, 30% was good, 70% was god awful. It's like, all right, I'll give you an example. Like Everybody Wants Some? The beginning of that song, he says, "You can't get romantic on a subway line," right?
yeah,
Dave decides to do, "You can't get," like straining. And he did that during a lot of songs where he talks like Unchained. There's part, "I don't need no permission." He's like, ah! It was horrible, but at the same time, he's all smiles, and it's David fucking Lee Roth, okay? So I did not leave there going, "Oh, that sucked," but it did have sucky qualities. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm not this fucking fanboy that'll lie, but I will say I had a good time. That guitar player was sick, sick. He nailed everything, man. It was a great show. Dave, yeah, it was right. But man, it doesn't make sense to me. Why doesn't he just talk the lyrics like he does on the record instead of screaming it, And here's the most bizarre part. "I'll Wait," the song "I'll Wait." You'd
yeah.
figure that's the hardest one to sing. He always sings that fine. I don't get it. I don't get it. We're dancing the night away. It's like, please take that song off the set list and put "Beautiful Girls," because that was pretty much almost as big as a hit from Van
Yeah.
Halen. So yeah, that's all. And I called Ian while I was there
Yeah.
because I was incognito. I had my hair up,
Did you
and
get caught?
no, I didn't get caught. But this is what I did, and I forgot to tell this to you. I was incognito. Under my shirt, I had my Sammy Hagar Suck shirt. Now, I went because a friend of mine wasn't allowed in the venue like a few years ago because he had a shirt that said "fuck posers." I think it was a nice third shirt. I'm not sure. And they wouldn't let him in. So I covered my shirt with another shirt and I put my hair all up in that. I didn't want nobody to notice me, you know? And it worked. I worked fine. But once I sat down, I took the shirt off and I wandered around and there were people saying, "Oh, kill a shirt," right? Everybody liked my shirt. They were laughing and shit. Till after the show. I'm going down it's a two escalators I gotta take. Coming down the first escalator, and there's a guy about to get on the escalator, but he stops and he looks at me. And I'm like, "Go ahead, say it." I already knew he was like a San Diego retard, right? And I didn't say no, I just walked past him, and then he got behind me and he goes, "Sammy Hagar doesn't suck." And I turned around and I said, my shirt begs to differ. And I walked off. Now, that was my review of the show.
I think the
Well,
crazy part of that story is that you had to worry about not getting into the club because your fucking shirt. Imagine going to a death metal show with every fucking crazy ass shirt that those guys wear, black metal shirts and stuff. But imagine just being worried about, you know, that's bizarre.
Remember back in what it's been like 20 years, Cradle of Filth had that
Yeah,
Jesus the Cunt.
fuck me, Jesus shirt, and then there was Jesus is a cunt.
uh,
There's a
I,
there's a funny picture of Jesus, a guy dressed up as Jesus going up to Danny Filth like pointing at him. Do you ever see that picture? It's fucking hilarious. If I could call me a cunt, I should.
well,
Yeah.
I,
Buddy,
I love you, Ralph, but I gotta call bullshit. Um, First of all, how in the fuck could you tell what a Sammy Hagar fan was saying with his dick in your mouth? You know?
yeah, I was on the lower part of the escalator.
Yeah.
It's just the way I got on the escalator. It was sucking dick position. If I was behind him, he'd be
All
sucking my.
right.
And I bet if he did, it would be great.
Yeah, because I've never met a Sammy Hagar fan without a dick in his mouth. Usually mine. Because I just like to punish them motherfuckers. You know.
All right. So,
All
what?
right, next story. What do we got? What do we got here? Dangerous Toys. Jason McMaster says doesn't believe grunge killed hair metal. I think that hair metal killed hair metal, and that's something we've talked about a lot on the show. And I think he's spot on.
Well,
Um,
my whole philosophy. Why does it always point to hair metal? Thrash died at the same time. Think about it.
well, it, I think it's easy to say that it killed hair metal because hair metal is what was most popular at the time, even more so than thrash. Even though
Correct.
thrash, beloved, has longevity, but I mean, if you look at sales and you look at everything, it was all about hair metal. But I agree 1,000%. I think it was so bastardized. I mean, if you look at the first generation of hair metal, and I know a lot of people get mad when I say this, but I think, as far Van Halen to me, it's big rock, it's cock rock, it's hair metal, it's stuff, and then you had, your first wave of your early Motley Crue, your Dokken, your all this shit, and then it just kept getting lighter and lighter. And right before fucking Nirvana kicked in, you got fucking Tough, you got Danger Danger, King of the Hill. You got all these like horrible, horrible bands that are just like, and it's no different than the grunge. When grunge kicked in, there was some like really good grunge bands, and then it becomes shit like Bush, and fucking Silverchair, and all this other shit. It gets bastardized where like people who don't really feel it do it because it's what's popular, and it would have died without grunge. Just grunge, had a bigger shovel, but they have nobody to blame but themselves.
I think
The
Trick.
first wave of any genre is always like usually the best because they're the ones that are the
Yeah,
originators. The whole thing about throw thrash in there with grunge killing off hair metal, but thrash didn't get killed off by grunge. It got killed off by the success of Metallica. Every fucking thrash band fucking chased that success. And the
yeah,
same thing when Motley Crue was the biggest thing in the world, and every fucking magazine had Motley Crue, Motley Crue, Motley Crue. All of a sudden, Ozzy's spooging his hair up for the ultimate sin. There's a point where Dio is fucking spooging his hair up. What is giving him an extra 2 inches? It's like everybody was following the trends. Following the trends, like that's what opened the door for me. Like when I remember when Theater of Pain came out, I was like, "This is fucking garbage." And I seen the way they looked and everything. I bought it the first day it came out because I liked the first two albums. But then I seen this like change going on where I was like, "Fuck this," and that opened the doors for thrash. I started finding Metallica and Slayer and Anthrax, all that shit. But then when they all tried to chase Metallica's success, that opened the door for me with death metal and hardcore and crossover music. And so I just
yeah,
went more underground, more extreme. As far as I was concerned, grunge never affected my world at all because the course I was already headed, like it just did not affect it at all. But I'm happy that it takes credit for killing off the hair metal shit because I fucking couldn't stand what was going on with that shit at the time. And I used to sit through 3 hours of Headbangers Ball to catch one Napalm Death video or something, and it would be like all those new bands that you were talking about that were just fucking so ridiculous, just looking stupider and stupider.
Even when Headbangers Ball would have that, what was it called, triple thrash threat, they throw in some garbage
Yeah.
like that too. It's like, what the fuck is
Oh
this?
yeah.
You know, it's like I can't
Yep.
remember because these are forgettable bands. Yeah, you get, a violence video. I remember World on the World was showed once. I was like, yeah, see, that's what's worth it. But usually
Yep.
back in those days, I never was home. I'd always set my VCR and I'd spend my Saturday afternoon with the fast forward button. It's like, even if it was videos I liked, I've seen them a gazillion times, like Run to the Hills or
Yeah,
something.
I used to do that same thing, and I would like take the. I always had the two VCRs. Once I could hook up the
Yeah.
two VCRs, that was everything. Because then you could borrow everybody's videos and stuff. But I would go through that 3 hours, and I'd pull the one or two good videos, maybe an interview out or a clip out here and there, and just fucking tape over the rest of it the next week, and do that all the time,
Yeah. By the way,
what
Ian,
we had to go through back then. It wasn't like imagine having fucking YouTube back then. I'm glad things were the way they were because like we really cherished the little bits we got
uh,
here and there. Like if you just have everything at your hand, I can't imagine that. Like I was so hungry to fucking borrow everybody's videotapes and this and that. You'd borrow everything that you can get from anybody, and you didn't care that it was taped over 5 generations or whatever. You were just happy to have a version of it. Now it's just right there, boom, boom, boom. No one they don't appreciate it at all.
uh,
It's just
and,
too much of it out there too.
and the stuff you find on YouTube looks a million times better than the old VCR tape you had. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of them
You're getting
are
like one of the better quality.
like
I tell you what, I totally got to back up Count Ralfus on this. I have a coworker who's in his early 30s, and I'm complaining to him about, I recently moved a few years ago to the Seattle area. And I'm like, man, nobody I know here is into music like I am, is into movies like I am. And granted, I work with a lot of younger people. Uh, and he brought up a great point that I didn't necessarily think about. He goes, yeah, but in your age, he goes, you bought all this stuff. He goes, you were invested. Like if you bought something, you listened to it and you're either like happy you bought this or you're mad you bought this. He goes, we grew up in an era where it's like you could just download it for free, you could watch it on YouTube. He's like, you're not invested. He goes, you guys made like a commitment, like you're going to mow a lawn and buy this album or you're going to do whatever to pay for this concert, where we didn't do that. And,
Oh, absolutely.
it made a lot of
Now it's
sense.
like it gets right to you listen to it and it gets to the vocal. Nah, I don't like it. Boom, that's it. Sometimes
yeah.
that's as quick as you're giving them. You're giving them 10 seconds, or maybe you'll make it to the chorus and go, yeah, nope, that's no good. And you
Yeah,
almost got to be that way because there's 8 billion bands to listen to now. So it's like,
right.
yeah, you're not going to force yourself to like it like you did when you spent $9 for that new Motley Crue album and you sat there and you tried to find a couple songs that you like, you wanted to like it
Yep.
because you spent money on it. Now it's like nope, 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 and it's everybody's way more critical now.
Oh yeah, I remember that shit like in the early '90s, man, when I was buying, CDs and shit. And I remember hearing that one song, that one single, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah. And then I'd buy the album and I'd listen to it like, fuck, I just got fucked, man. 'Cause this shit sucks. But I spent like what was allotted to me that week. This is what I paid for, and I'm stuck with it now. But you would give it more of a chance because you're like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do?
Was it
You
was
know,
was it Bang Tango?
no, I tell you what, the one that pissed me off the worst, you're gonna laugh your ass off, was a band called Every Mother's Nightmare. Every Mother's Nightmare,
My
and they
favorite.
had they had this song called "Love Will Make You Blind." And we always talk on this show about like I'm the guy who hates fucking ballads. I hate fucking, but their first single was a ballad because that was the era. It was early '90s. But I really dug that song and I bought it. It was like the worst. It was probably the worst album that I bought since what was the one?
Bang
Electric.
Tango.
Oh no, Pretty Boy Floyd. I never bought a Bang Tango album. Pretty Boy Floyd. I brought.
Oh
I
God.
bought. I bought Pretty Boy Floyd because I saw the ad in Hit Parader. I'm like, that looks like a Kiss album cover, and I bought it and it was fucking horrible. But yeah, yeah. Every Mother's Nightmare. I'm like, oh, this is fucking terrible, man. Terrible.
Going back what Ralfus was saying about the two VCRs, it's crazy. There was a time I had four VCRs, and I had to because I was a bootlegger, and I had to record a bunch of and you'd have to unplug the back, put it in the other VCR so you can see it on the TV screen. It was so much effort. Like, yeah, fast forwarding a tape, finding a video, then putting the video. It was so much effort to do that. But while you were doing it, it was like effortless. It didn't matter. You know what I mean? Now, yeah, everything's, we look back on it going, God damn, we did a lot of fucking horse shit to get shit like this done where we go on YouTube and watch the videos that we fucking busted our ass over back in the 80s. I mean, I started around 88 with the bootlegging. I had mountains of videotapes that I was trying to transfer everything on DVD. I did the most I could. It was literally impossible. And I had to move. I threw all these videotapes away. They had a lot of
I still have like almost all of it. Like I threw some stuff away, but I have almost all of it. And it's funny when I just like look through them. Sometimes I pull out a piece of paper, and it's like a fucking thousand things on that 8 hour fucking videotape. You know, it's like clip from 120 minutes, clip from this, interview from this video, this video. It was just all scrambled on one fucking tape. And then I remember trying to like doing like one's going to be all punk and hardcore, one's going to be all more heavy stuff, one's going to be traditional. So you just sat there and did the same thing with like cassette tapes. You would like make best ofs and stuff like that. It's just like the stuff we would do back then. Now it's like a couple clicks of a button, and no one will ever appreciate it. We're lucky that we had it the way we did, because I think we appreciate music way more
Oh
than
yeah.
these people that today that are just jumping on the next big thing, and it's hot for fucking 2 years or so, and then they're on to the next fucking big thing. And all the bands that try to jump on that bandwagons to try to be successful, or they're the real posers, the ones that change what they're doing. I always put it down to like Turbo. When Turbo came out, fucking KK Downing had a perm all of a sudden, and Rob had little curls, and it was just like, what the fuck is it? And that was another album that Tony Dio put in his summer jams, was Turbo, and somebody else in the crew fucking used that album too. But to me, that was like another reason why that whole era was dying, because Judas Priest, all their greats were all getting weaker and weaker as thrash got bigger, and then death metal just scooped right in for me for like a good 10 years, or actually from then till now, really, because I still listen to like so much death metal and extreme metal, you know.
the whole glam thing really exploded because of Theater of Pain. Because you think after 85 is when all our bands went glammy. All
Oh
of
yeah.
them.
That's the thing we talked about a lot on the show, and it's like, as much as you can make fun of it and do all this shit, everybody followed Motley Crue after Home Sweet Home. They followed the look. They followed the second release was the fucking ballad. That all started with Motley Crue, and that shit lasted a good fucking 5 years, 6+ years. It's funny we talk
To
about
me,
this
Shout
shit.
at the Devil really started it, though, even though they didn't have that many videos and stuff, and it might have been not as been as big like radio hits or whatever, but like they were just everywhere in the mag. If they weren't on the cover, they were the centerfold. If they weren't the
Right.
centerfold, there was a 6 page fucking layout of them. Like they just followed them in that 2 year period. Motley Crue was just everywhere. You could not escape them. They were just,
Oh,
I've never seen anything like it. In that time when I was growing up, it was like a crucial time to me. Like I can't think of another band that was more in the magazines than Motley Crue was
oh,
during Shout at
they
the
were all
Devil.
over the place, and they were much more influential than they were good. That's for goddamn sure. I remember you know, like I knew of them during Shout at the Devil, but that's when I was like first starting to hear heavy metal. But I came on board during Theater of Pain, and I remember like I thought that look was awesome. I'll never forget the first hit parader I got was the one with them where they're dressed up like gangsters. And you know,
Oh,
have you guys seen that photo
yeah.
shoot where they're
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah. So then when they changed, when Girls came out and they're all dressed in like the, you know, the denim and they're bikers, I was like, this ain't cool. They don't look like rock stars like before. But
Yeah, I
then
thought that was better. I thought that was better
well,
at
no,
that
I
point.
in
When I got Theater
hindsight,
of
yes,
Pain and I turned it around, they looked like Poison before Poison was
right,
invented to me. Like
right.
they
In
were like,
hindsight, yes. But I'm saying, but then when they went to the leather, I mean to the denim and the leather, then all the cock rock bands did that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? They were trendsetters. The music
yeah.
sucks. The,
Guns N'
they
Roses
were
was doing their
trendsetters.
thing right around that same time, and they kind of had
Yeah,
that
Guns,
biker kind of normal
hey,
like look.
after Guns N' Roses came out, they took the baton. Everybody was trying to be
Yeah,
Guns N' Roses before.
yeah.
yeah. That's
It's
when
a-
everybody slowly stopped using the hairspray after the first video, whatever.
remember,
Then they all calmed it down a little.
remember that band Nitro?
Yeah, yeah,
Had that video Freight Train where the guy's hair is all the way up to the sky.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh,
yeah.
the next
Fag
album,
band.
his hair was all down, and he even in the video, I shit you not, did the Axel Snake dance.
Oh
Oh
wow.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Everybody was trying.
They were all jumped on every trend. And you know, some manager was like, you gotta fucking practice the snake dance. And you gotta fucking start wearing bandanas. Don't wear the ones that he's wearing. Get a real fluorescent color looking one or something. You know, that's how their fucking the stupid music business was run. That's why the underground was so much cooler and fucking way fucking
I was
just
I,
way
I was there with you, Ralfus, man. I mean, because there is a huge age gap with me and Ian. Because Ian discovered, like you said, Theater of Pain, and he went up.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
whole time
how old is Ian? How old is Ian?
I'm 51.
Oh, okay. But
so
that's weird
So
because I
I
was
got into
buying that
metal.
as a new album. I was
Yeah.
buying Theater of Pain though as a new album in like 1984, I
85.
guess, and I was like
85 is when it came out. That's when I got into 85. I knew some metal bands. Like I already had Pyromania. I already had Metal Health because that was part of popular music. That wasn't just metal. That was
Oh
like a
yeah,
whole.
oh yeah,
But
oh yeah.
85 Kiss
MTV in the
Asylum.
80s played
Yeah,
MTV in the 80s played
yeah,
75% metal in the
yeah,
80s. In the early
yeah,
80s, it was 75% metal around that time. So that was
yeah,
deep popular music.
yeah. Kiss Asylum
I
is
think
when I
Theater of Pain
discovered
was the
heavy metal.
last album I bought of hair metal. It was probably the last album I ever bought. Like I always thought of it was as 1984, but if Theater of Pain came out after that, that was the very last album. But at that same time, I was finding Metallica and stuff, and then it just ended. I had Metal Church, I have Omen and Jag Panzer and all these weird other kind of Iron Maidenish sort of band, more metal. Like it just totally ends like right there. My collection has nothing after. I don't have a single Dokken album after that. I don't have
And
anything after.
I stuck around with some of them that released. I like some of the later Dokken albums, but I was just like you. But even before Theater of Pain, even before Shout of the Devil, I was into Merciful Fate, Venom, Metallica came out in '83, and late '83 Slayer. I was already into all that, but all the music that I liked beforehand were still kicking ass. All the way up to
Yeah, yeah,
they still can, I love Park of the Moon. I love Peace of Mind and Power Slave all the way. And I always say it, 84 to me. Once Don't Break the Oath came out, that's it. That's it. There's never going to be
yeah.
anything
That
as good as
yeah,
that. And that's all
yeah. Pretty much 84. 80,
that's all I got into. I just got into more of the underground because that was more appealing after 85. And
especially because everything started shifting right at that same time too. It's like Motley Crue was wearing spikes with the Shot at the Devil. All of a sudden they were wearing fucking pink spandex or whatever the fuck they were. And they just trying to look like girls or whatever. But it was like not just them, but the whole wave of metal like changing. and it just opened the doors for thrash to come in and get big. But then once Metallica hit a plateau, everybody tried to jump on that, and it's the same thing. It's like it repeats itself. It didn't really repeat itself in death metal, which is funny because it just can never be a commercialized. I mean, there is commercial sort of live versions of death metal, is melodic death metal. People might say Armand Amarth or like a big kind of melodic death metal, and but it's
No,
not
they
nearly
just
the
suck.
same trends were back in the day, where everybody jumped on whatever. No death metal band ever sold so good that everybody tried to sound like them. I mean,
I
there's a million
remember
Right.
Cannibal Corpse.
I remember there was a time, I think Cannibal Corpse eclipsed it, that Morbid Angels Covenant was the biggest selling death metal album at that time.
Because of Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah,
Because of Beavis and
yeah,
Butt.
yeah. There's always going to be the leaders and stuff, and they also were around early as hell doing it before most of like Death was gotten their videos and stuff. There was the leaders of the scene, but it wasn't like they were making so much money that these guys stopped doing their version of death metal to sound like this because they might make an extra $50 that week. It's like no one, everybody you're better off trying to be more original, and it was cool, but it just got overflooded like a million, like all scenes do. It got
Ralphus,
overflooded.
Ralphus, you ever heard of Hell Witch?
Of course, yeah. I got their old 7-inch from way back then. I know you're good
Uh,
friends with the guy.
yeah, yeah, Nosferatu, right? That's the 7 inch.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have that 7-inch.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I showed it on. I think I showed it on the 7-inch show that we did.
Oh,
That 7-inch.
I forgot. But anyway, that's a band that was around. The first time I ever heard of Hell Witch, they were opening for Anthrax on the Spreading the Disease tour. What was that? 85, I think. And
Yeah, or maybe 86.
and they had a few singles, but they didn't release their full length album till 1990. But all those songs on that full length album, I saw them play through the clubs through the years. And we played a show with Hell Witch and Napalm Death was the headliner, and
Wow.
Barney said on stage, he goes, "I can't believe I'm playing a show with Hell Witch." I
Oh
thought that
yeah, because that was the tape trading. That was the tape trading days. That Hell Witch got around everywhere, man. There was only so many bands that were like doing that kind of stuff. So it was real precious to fucking get a copy of it and send it around. And I was around some like real big tape trading people, and I got a lot of shit. But it's like it wasn't the actual demo. It wasn't like sending away for the demo where it'd be worth a fortune now. But I'd have a one tape would have 6 demos on it. That I was more about just having it, and I was like how same way being like trying to tape everything from everybody with the VCR. I was doing that with cassettes. But if I was smarter and had a little bit more money, I could have had the demos of every like great death metal band and a lot of thrash metal bands. Like I had the Testament Legacy demo, but it wasn't the real one. But I had it when it was coming around because it was like it was a tape trading thing. But back then you just went to the fucking your little deli that had a Xerox machine and you would Xerox the cover, but it's not worth nothing because it's not the real tape.
right.
But I have a
Yeah,
ton of them.
the guy, my friend Pat from Hellwitch, he was even a bigger bootlegger than me. That guy owned everything. And when Megadeth released "Killing Is My Business," some later version with demos, they had to go to Pat to get those demos. He was the only guy that
Oh yeah.
had those Megadeth demos. That guy had everything. I mean, everything. And I told this
Well, there
story.
was probably a ton of people that had it, but they had 7th generation versions of it where he might have had the actual demo, where everybody else had, like me, I would have the 17th version of it, tape from a
Yeah,
tape from a tape.
yeah, the original. And I got to bring up the funny story of Pat that I've told on this show several times. All right. One night, I'm listening to Siri Thungal, right? And Pat calls me. I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Pat?" He's like, "Hey, Ralph. Hey, what you listening to, man?" I go, "I'm listening to Siri Thungal." And he goes, "Ooh, the Siri Thungal." I go, "You like him?" He goes, "Nah, they suck."
I saw Hell Witch open up for House of Lords in 1987.
Yeah, wow. What a bill.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, it was a
1987.
weird,
Wow.
it was a weird one.
Anything else? in the news?
Let's see.
Oh, I got something to say.
I don't think. I mean, what Ozzy's dead. I mean, that's all that anybody
Yeah,
cares
yeah,
Yeah.
about.
it's related to that. All right, you know that
Okay.
day that Ozzy had the funeral and Sharon came out crying and she does a
Yeah.
little sign. Well,
Yeah, you insensitive asshole.
somebody on the podcast page put a picture of her, crying and shit, and people are leaving comments. Poor Sharon, and I wrote, "Oh, poor cunt." Right? This. Whatever. I don't even care because usually I delete people that attack me, and this guy kept attacking me, and I wouldn't attack back. Like he would attack me saying I'm a poser for saying that, which is ironic. Before Ozzy died, Sharon was a cunt, but now she's not a cunt. She's an angel. That's a poser that says that. But my point is, after he calls me all this thing, and I should be a Sammy Hagar fan, all this shit. I replied, I hope Sharon Osbourne doesn't get kicked in the knee in front of Ozzy like Phil Suzanne. Then he continued. He continued insulting me. And then I just said, listen, dude, I'm not into this internet fighting. Let him put it this way. You won, dude. I'm a poser. Yay, you won. Congratulations. Because honestly, you're going to just sit there and insult me while I'm not insulting you back. And here's the clincher. I didn't block him from the podcast page. He's still there. I never do that. I always block people that are.
Ralph always blocks it. But I think it's funny that you'll mention Sharon's a cunt, but you didn't mention Hunter Biden's laptop.
Who?
Exactly.
I don't even-
Hypocrite.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
that Phil Sasan when he was on Almost Human, I wasn't on the show yet, and I was in the comments, and I was the one that said, "Hey, is it true that Sharon kicked you in the shin at the funeral for Castillo?" You know, and so I ended up getting that as the question, and he went into a whole thing about that.
yeah,
That was
she in front of his open casket, she did it. Crazy. And he was very nice about it, you know. I don't know. She was mad at me, but yeah, she kicked me in the knee. I was gonna ask him the question. I was just waiting for the right time. And then when you asked it, I was like, oh, thank God.
yeah, you have to.
But yeah. Oh, what an angel. She's like, oh, no more new Ozzy albums. She's a cunt. She's always
No,
gonna be a cunt.
no, that's fuck. You don't care about Brian Wilson. You don't care about Sharon Osbourne. You're a real insensitive prick.
I care about Brian Wilson more than Sharon Osbourne. That's see, Brian Wilson. I wish he was still alive. See,
Ouch.
fuck her. She's a cunt. I'm not changing. I'm not a poser.
I'm offended.
You're the
What
freak. What's up with the Osborne family? They're way too those daughters are way too young for all that crazy plastic surgery. You see the lips on both those chicks?
Hey, and what happened to the other two children? That's what I'm really disturbed about. Where was Elliot and Jessica?
No, the son was there. I'm not sure about the daughter. He
Well,
was.
no, no. His natural born son from Thelma was there, but then he has a daughter, Jessica, that was with his first wife, and then there's the child Elliot, who was her child before that Ozzy adopted.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Those two were not at the funeral, and they were not mentioned in the press release. And I thought that was really, really shitty.
I have a theory why that happened. Because Sharon Osbourne's a cunt.
Well, yeah, no,
when
it
Sharon
definitely.
did the thing with the eggs at Iron Maiden, I did a drawing of the killer's Eddie fucking chopping Sharon's head off and holding Sharon's head. But I'll pull it out one of the next times I'm on one of these episodes. I'll just pull out the drawing. It's really good, and it says Eddie's wearing a shirt that says Maiden Fest '05 because that started like the whole problems is that Black Sabbath kept canceling because Ozzy couldn't kept canceling, and so Bruce at one show said, we might as well call it Maiden Fest. And then that started like the whole problem, I guess, you know.
I don't,
Fuck.
I don't understand why she threw eggs at the other band members. That's the thing I don't get. You know,
Well, the thing is, just be happy that she's still alive because now we're going to get a shit ton of Ozzy re-releases that are going to
I
be
hope so.
awesome.
I hope
You
so.
know,
Like
and
the
maybe we'll get a fucking Speak of the Devil re-release. God damn it!
there's a rumor that it was in Largo, Maryland. Diary of a Madman tour was professionally shot, and she has the tapes. That's a rumor. Be nice if she let that out. You
But you
know?
see clips of it, right? Is that the one you see clips of all the time?
No, no,
No, whole different.
the clips are from Texas. The professional shot, that's from Texas. That was a news some news report. A guy shot the first two or three songs. But
Yeah.
I just want something with his best guitar player, Jakey Lee.
well, we fortunately have more than two professionally shot videos. It's like
Yeah,
four.
unfortunately, they have keyboards in the mix. Ugh,
Yeah,
ugh.
yeah, yeah. Well,
All
that
right.
no, actually, that Salt Lake City show doesn't have that keyboards loud. That's a really
Oh.
good Jake.
Man, I tell you, the one that ruined my fucking childhood. I remember watching, when I first got into metal, like, so you guys understand why I'm as gay as I'm gay. Like, my first Dio was Sacred Heart. My first Ozzy was Ultimate Sin. My first Maiden was Somewhere in Time. My first Dokken was Under Lock and Key. I remember loving that fucking Ozzy home video that they used to show on MTV all the time. And then I went back and watched as an adult, and I'm like, oh, these fucking keyboards are drowning everything. It's despicable, man. It's fucking nasty, man.
I still got that VHS of that Ozzy
Oh
show.
yeah, the
So
Ultimate
are you wearing
Ozzy.
spandex right now? Are you wearing spandex right now?
Yes,
Are they
yes.
red like Bill Ward's
No,
long
no,
johns on
no, no. They're
Sabotage?
black because black is slimming, and I'm fat. But it's still
I'm
spandex.
wearing look at the Black Sabbath shorts. Look at the logo. You can tell that's bootleg as hell, man. There ain't
Wow.
no fucking Black Sabbath with that logo. And what is it?
Yeah,
Like a fucking like a Western, you know? But
Yeah.
right. But
Black Sabbath.
he lives in Hialeah, so it says Black Sabbath on one leg, and on the other leg it says Lives Don't Matter.
And it also says Butelo. That's the coffee us Spicks love.
Hey, in
Yo,
the
I put a
culo.
Black Sabbath Matters sticker on my car, and my wife was driving it, and she was in this college town, and some girl wrote like this big letter. I still have the letter and everything, but it was all about like how insensitive the sticker was to her, and but she wrote a nice, polite letter saying that you shouldn't have this, and you should be trying to make a joke about this whole situation, But this was Black Sabbath Matters sticker that we put on our car, but. Yeah, I'll try to share it one of these days on one of these shows.
I have a
Uh,
shirt that says Black Sabbath Matters with Volume 4 album cover.
no, hey, that shit happens, man. I had like a fucking anti Sammy Hagar sticker on my car. Like fucking Hagar fans have taste for shit. And this guy wrote me he like one of those where they write it and they put it under your windshield wiper, and he's
Yeah,
like,
they put
hey,
it as a wiper.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. He's like, I suck a dick after it's been out of an asshole, and I have better taste than a Sammy Hagar fan. I'm offended by your bumper sticker.
Wow.
Well, he's got a point.
I
He-
put the letter in a scrapbook. I have a scrapbook with the letters though, so I can find it for next episode.
Awesome. All right, well, fuck it, fuck it. That's the news, man. Let's get into this fucking album, and I'm curious. I'm curious, Count Ralfus, why you're here, because you're here for one of two reasons. Either you love this fucking album, or you hate this fucking album. And I'm curious to see which it is. Are you a big Alice fan, Count?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I first seen Alice as a kid. Like I knew the hit songs, and we would just did the summer jams thing. And Alice Cooper, "School's Out," that was the beginning of summer, so that was, of course, one of the ones everybody talked about. But so I knew like the big hit songs and stuff. But then I think it was 1986. It was Peace Cells tour. Megadeth is on tour with Alice
Okay.
Cooper. I think it was Constrictor tour, And me and my friends, we take acid and we go. We're fucking real young kids. We mosh like every song of Megadeth, and we're banging into all these old people drinking beers, and they're fucking throwing us back in the pit. And they wanted to kill us. They were like threatened. One, they grabbed my friend, and some old guys are threatening. Their old guys were like 28 years old or whatever. But they were grabbing my friends and stuff, and threatening to beat him up and everything. And we were just like, fuck you. We were like little kids moshing like crazy for Megadeth. And we had already seen Megadeth headline with Possessed at L'Amour's and 16 years old going down to Brooklyn and stuff. But now they come right in our local, like a half an hour away at our local civic center with Alice Cooper. So, after Megadeth's done, we're like, yeah, we got to go up there. We see this guillotine getting set up for Alice Cooper. So we're like, we got to get up there. This looks crazy. And we were kids tripping. So, man, Alice came on, one of the most mind-blowing shows of my youth, and I've been a lifelong fan since that night. That they just were so Megadeth was great, but Alice Cooper put on such a fucking show. I didn't realize how theatrical it was going to be and everything. And we were right in the front row. He was stabbing the balloons and confetti falling on us while we're tripping and stuff, and the nurse holding up his head that's bleeding, and so we were just blown away. It was fucking awesome. So yeah, I seen him on Halloween night one time in the city on that Brutal Planet tour, and this shirt that I got right now, 2019, up at Bethel Woods in Woodstock. Was the first night I ever met Pete Pardo from the Sea of Tranquility. But yeah, so I'm a big fan. I got most of his albums, but I was, looking today just to see how many albums. Like this is the eighth album with the original lineup guys who were still around. And but overall, if you look under the Alice Cooper name and just type all the full length albums, no greatest hits, no live albums, he has 30
28.
fucking releases. So I hope no one ever wants to do a ranking of Alice Cooper because you got to
Yeah.
give you like 6 months ahead of time to do that.
I,
But yeah,
I'll tell you what,
I
what's
thought it
awesome.
was was
I was
that?
gonna say what's awesome though is this tour, that you're talking about, the Constrictor tour, is the first time all three of us saw Alice Cooper, because I saw
Huh.
Alice Cooper on this tour. I remember going. It was gonna. My dad took me. I was in seventh grade, and he's like, "We're going to see Alice Cooper," and I knew they were on tour with the Megadeth, and I was like, "Oh, my dad's gonna hate Megadeth. My dad's gonna hate this shit." But the show we saw was the first night Tesla took over after Megadeth, and we're standing outside the venue in Peoria, Illinois, and I can see the T-shirt, where all the T-shirts are being sold. I'm like, those are Tesla shirts. Those aren't Megadeth shirts. So we saw the first show where they took over. And Ralph, you
Oh,
saw them, the same Constrictor tour, but was it Vinnie Vincent when you saw him?
Vinnie Vincent Invasions, who opened?
Yeah.
It
So
was
all of us saw this first. This is our first
huh.
experience for Alice,
mine.
but
Wow,
different
that's interesting.
bands. Yeah,
Mine was New Year's Eve of '86. That's when he played.
yeah.
Wow, New Year's Eve.
That was the first time I saw.
Mine was '87. I know that.
It might have been '80. No, it was '86 going into '87 was the
Yeah.
show.
Do you
So
remember when you saw him? Count like what month or
Oh, I don't
whatever?
know what. No, I just know that Megadeth was opening, and yeah, I have no idea what. I mean, it's so long ago. I was one of
See,
my
I
early
think,
shows, and
yeah. If I'm looking back, I think Ralph probably saw it first, then you, and then me. If I'm looking at like the history of that tour. But it's crazy because we're all like in this weird age group, but that's all, our first experience in seeing them. And like
and
you
he never
talk about.
stops touring. He never stops putting out
Oh yeah.
albums. I mean, 30 fucking albums. Like, who has a discography like that? Like, I can't think of anybody. I mean, Rolling Stone's been around longer, and a couple of bands been around longer, but they don't put out an album every 2 years like fucking Alice Cooper does. He like
Yeah.
never took a long break. They just always just kept coming and coming, and you always had Alice Cooper. And then there's even like him doing Hollywood Vampires has albums out and stuff. He's doing side things on top of that. So it's like his discography is just ridiculous.
it's crazy. And you think about it, you know what band's been around since the '60s and they're still around today and their discography ain't that big? Is the Who. Go look at the Who
Yeah.
discography.
Yeah,
That's
the Who's got like 5 albums, you know.
since the '60s.
Well, well, I mean, like if you take away all the live and the compilation albums from the Who, I mean, what do they have? Like 10, maybe?
Probably something like that.
Yeah, I mean, but would you say, Count, that are you more of an Alice Cooper solo fan, or are you more of like the Alice Cooper group fan?
I mean, I never really thought about it. I mean, it's 8 albums versus 22 albums, I guess, but it's like I love them both. I just love Alice. He's always just been super consistent. I mean, he's jumped on the bandwagon or trends a little bit here and there, but he never
Oh
was
yeah,
like horrible with it. Like that brutal planet, he played with the band Dope when I seen him on Halloween night in New York
that's
City,
some total
and it was
Manson
kind of
shit
like
right there.
industrial, like Marilyn Manson was big at the time. So he stayed relevant. He's always played like good sized venues and stuff, and I like his whole career. I think he's just so amazing. At 77 years old, who's ever put out an album like this, The Revenge of Alice Cooper? Like, it might be the best album ever released by a 77-year-old. I don't know who I would put. Like, a lot of the bands that
Spoiler
are still,
alert, I might agree with you. Yeah.
yeah, there's guys that are still alive, like Tony Iommi and stuff, but they're not putting out albums right now. So I mean, I don't know who you could put against the 77-year-old like Alice Cooper. And he has so much energy. His voice just sounds amazing on this. And that's the cool thing about Alice too, is that he never was one of those guys like Ian Gillan that he had to do these high screams, and he always kept it within his range. So now he's 77 and he fucking sounds exactly the same. Like he could do it. I've seen him live a couple of years ago with Hollywood Vampires, and I seen him a year like 2019 with Alice Cooper. And I'm gonna go see him in a couple of months, or not even a couple months. Like next month, he's playing up here with Corrosion of Conformity and Judas Priest.
Nice,
They're playing this big
nice.
outside place. It's back. It's called, and I'm going to that. That's gonna be my next like big show that I go to. I
Is
can't
that at
miss
the
that one.
Chance at Poughkeepsie?
The chance of Poughkeepsie is like 24 miles from my house, and that's where I seen them.
Oh,
I seen
nice.
Slayer on Rain and Blood tour there. That was my first show ever there, 1986, and I've been there more than any other club that I've ever been to. That's
I
my
wanted to go there. My only time to New York, I didn't even go to the boroughs. I went to Fishkill, but but I passed the Chance, and I'm like, oh, that's the fucking Chance, man. That's fucking
yeah,
amazing venue, man.
yeah,
Legendary venue.
total legendary. It's been rebought by somebody recently, and it's been under construction. It was like kind of falling apart. The owner died a few years back, and they had their final shows there with Hatebreed, and we've been all hoping that it's coming back, and now it's coming back as some kind of dance troupe thing or whatever. But we're hoping that they bring live music back there, and
It's in,
hoping that it's become.
it's in New Jersey.
No, it's in Poughkeepsie, right?
It's in the Hudson Valley, Poughkeepsie,
Hudson
New
Valley.
York. It's like upstate. It's only 24 miles from my house, but it's about an hour 20 minutes from New York
Yeah.
City.
I
But
played.
you know where Fishkill's at, right? Of course.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's where
Yeah, yeah.
some of the guys from Sea of Tranquility are from there. Like Ramones,
Uh,
when Ramones first played outside of New York City, that's where they played with Chance and
that's a funny thing. Like, if you've never been in New York, you think the whole state of New York is like Manhattan, you know? And I
oh yeah.
flew in for I flew in for a wedding. I landed in fucking Jersey, and then I'm driving in, and I see the boroughs from across the Hudson. I'm like, fuck, I want to go to New York, and they're like, no, we're going to Fishkill, you know. But then we passed Poughkeepsie, and I saw the Chance, and I was like, oh man, that's a legendary fucking venue, man.
Oh yeah. Been to so many shows there. Yeah, I'm upstate New York, and I used to be a half an hour closer to the city where I grew up, but I was like an hour and a half. So we'd go to the city. So we preferred going upstate like more to shows because it's like cheaper parking and everything. But where I am now, I got like a mountain right behind me. If you see my Instagram, I
Oh
got like
yeah.
pictures of bears and snakes every day. I'm out in the woods.
Oh, it's beautiful up there, man. Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful area.
Right
All
on.
right.
Go ahead.
Well, this is one, man. I was so excited about this, but apprehensive at the same time. because I am definitely more of a Alice Cooper group fan than I am Alice solo. Even though I have all the albums, I love them. Alice Cooper group is what motivates me. But since he's been doing stuff with the Alice Cooper group on and off since Welcome to My Nightmare, I've been very unsatisfied with the tracks. A couple of okay ones, some really shitty ones, but nothing really outstanding. But when he said, "Hey, I'm going to do a full-fledged album with these guys," Bob Ezrin producing, who, Bob Ezrin is another one. I think he was great back in the day, but I think he's lost his way as a producer. I'm like, fuck, we'll see. I want the best, but, I kept my expectations very fucking low. But this is an album, and I'm going to save a lot of this for when we're reviewing it, but I was like apprehensive, but excited at the same time. How about you, Ralph? What's your favorite era? And did you expect much from this, or were you like, not going to get excited?
No, I was very excited for this because I really loved the two songs they released before it. And especially the first, Black Mamba. And I was very, very excited about it. As far as Bob Ezrin, he's been horrible, but he's incredible on the last Deep Purple albums.
Yeah,
Especially the last one. He's great. But
yeah.
without it's just not work. Paranormal was I just don't like a lot of Alice's input after Dirty Diamonds. I'm not really a fan. And I've tried. I even own a couple of them. But this album, fuck. Best thing he's done since Dirty Diamonds. Even better. And I would put it above Muscle of Love.
All right. Well, I think you'll be surprised at my ranking. I'm going to leave it till the end of the review. Uh, but wow, this album is something else. But Count Ralfus, you are our special guest. We're going to let you take the first track, Black Mamba. What do you think?
All right. So yeah, that was the first one. Yeah, everybody got to hear. I'm not crazy about the ya 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 chorus. That's the only thing I have a problem with. The rest of the song is fucking amazing, and it's so cool that they got Robbie Krieger to guest on that song. I mean, how awesome is that? Robbie Krieger doing a guest spot on a fucking Alice Cooper album. It's my Robbie Krieger autograph. Me and my wife went to see him a few years back, and we went back behind the building, and there he was getting ready to get into his like limo and get out of there. But he was cool enough to do a quick signature, and they were awesome. Robbie Krieger's still fucking awesome guitar player. Love the Doors, and yeah, I thought it was a really cool song. I just didn't like that yeah 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 yay fucking chorus. It's like throw some words together, you know.
I love the Yayas because it's so Alice Cooper group, you know? They used to do shit, crazy shit like that. I think this is the best song on the album, man. And believe me, I've listened to this album a lot because I really love the album. Not all the songs. There's some on here that are like, fuck. Got nothing nice to say about them, but most of it is awesome. And this one's awesome. This one does have the Alice Cooper band sound. Fuck, man. Hold on. Damn. I'm sorry. So yeah, I love this song. It's my favorite song off the album, Black Mamba. And the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, this is good. Because it's like, since the song Dirty Diamonds, I haven't heard nothing that's grabbed me from Alice. This one did, man. Big time. I love it. My favorite off the album.
All right. Well, I'm going to go right there with you. This is a goddamn masterpiece. Not one wrong note. And I put in parentheses the yayas. And I love that, Count Ralphus won't take offense to this. If you don't like the yayas, Ask your doctor if Bag of Dicks is right for you. You don't like this? Try Bag of Dicks. Uh, I love it. And what's great about this, I mean, which I'm surprised at Count Ralph, is if you like the Doors, this whole like, yeah, yeah, it reminds me of My Wild Love by the Doors, you know, where they have similar shit, you know, and it's like, it fits the fucking music and it fits that era. Uh, you know, and then you got Robbie Krieger. And something I'm going to talk about is what songs make the cut on this album because it is too fucking long. I will say this right off the bat.
What?
I fucking, well, no, I fucking love it, but Ralph knows I talk about, I have a rule of 10. Back in the old school days when everything was on vinyl, you had like 9, 10 songs. What would fit on two sides of vinyl? And it made for the best fucking albums because you had to cut off lesser shit. Albums were more concise. I think this album is over bloated. I think it would have been great to save some of these songs and make them either B-sides or save it for like do another album. You know, do another one. I kind of get it. Like, fuck, these motherfuckers are almost 80. They might not make it to another album, so throw everything on the fucking table and see who eats it. But I'm all about the most concise, like, give me a good 10 song lineup for a fucking album like the good old days. But if I'm going by my rule of 10, this totally makes the fucking list because this is the greatest Alice Cooper song I've heard in 40 fucking years. It's fucking amazing. It's amazing. And I've seen a lot of shit talking on the internet. A lot of people don't like the lyrics on this album. They don't like the yah-yahs. They don't like this. They don't like that. But you know what? I got a feeling a lot of those motherfuckers are like, I want to hear Poison. I want to hear Feed My Frankenstein. And I'm the Alice Cooper fan who hates those fucking songs. I want to hear the Alice Cooper group 1,000 times better than Alice solo, in my opinion, which is the correct opinion. I love this fucking song. Love it. It is everything. When I heard this, I was like, oh my God, this could be everything I wanted it to be. This could be fucking amazing. And then we hit the next song, Wild Ones. This was the second song released. When I heard this one, I was like, oh no. Oh no, this is what I was afraid of. But this album to me is a grower because every time I listen to this album, it gets better and better. First time I heard Wild Ones, I was like, nope, no sale. Now I love it. You know, it's like I think of all the fucking horrible Alice solo albums. You know, it's like, yeah, this is 1,000 times better than that. Brando would be fucking happy with this one. It's totally an ode to the movie, The Wild Ones. You know, musically, you know, lyrically, it's fucking awesome. I love it now. And it changed my mind. And it made me think about, like, how many modern albums from classic bands that I love should I go back and listen to? Because this happens a lot. Bands I love back in the day, I go and listen to it now. I'll give it one run through. Sometimes I don't even make it through the whole fucking song because I already have it in my mind that it's going to suck. And if it doesn't reach out and grab me right away, I'm like, and I never go back. You know, a lot of people, everybody's been freaking out about Ozzy. You know, Ozzy dying. I haven't given an Ozzy album an honest listen since Osmosis. I thought Osmosis sucked. And every album since then, I'm like, I'll half-ass listen to them like, no, I'll go back to the old shit. I'll go back to Sabbath. Fuck this shit, you know. Maybe I should go back and listen to some of this shit. Because at first I didn't like this song, and now I fucking love it, you know. And, you know, one like Ralph and I both agreed, you know, last year, our favorite album of the year was Deep Purple's Equal One, you know. And that's, how many fucking Deep Purple albums did I listen to kind of half-ass? And like, and I never listened to again. Bananas, fucking all this other shit. You know, it's like you half-ass listen to it, but you know, you don't sit there and dissect it. But man, equals one. I was like, holy fuck, this is awesome. That's how I feel when I listen to this. Fucking incredible. What do you think of Wild Ones, Ralph? Ralph Vieira, I should say.
I love it. I loved it on the first listen, though. Yeah, hearing it on the first listen this is probably why it turned you off. And I noticed this too on the first listen. Doesn't sound like the Alice Cooper, you know?
Yeah.
It sounds like later Alice. But man, the groove, the guitar playing, sounds very youthful, you know? And Alice sounds like Alice, like what Ralph has said earlier. Guy's voice is exactly the same. And it's so menacing. That's what I love about Alice's voice. He's got a very menacing voice, especially on Black Mamba. But on this one, it's awesome. I think it's a great hard rocking, fast tempo song. Doesn't sound like old Alice, but it sounds like solo Alice that I do like. That's what I think. What do you think, Count Ralphus? I'm gonna get my tea.
I think it's the most upbeat rocker on the album, and it was the one that stood out to me first. Like the first listen, this was the one that really kind of stood out to me because I kind of tend to always go for the more faster energy kind of ones, and I like Alice's energy behind it. And going back to the producing, I think this album sounds great. Like I don't hear anything too loud, I don't hear anything too low, or I mean, to me the production sounds great. And as far as like it being like an overblown album, a bloated album, I like you I seen the invite to this like 2 hours ago before the episode started, and I figured, all right, let me make notes, and I put on the Alice Cooper album, and before I knew it, it was over. Like these are all fast songs, like they're like three minute songs, like an old radio songs. You know, there's like maybe 1 5 minute song. I didn't really pay attention to the times on the songs, but none of the songs seemed long to me, and I felt like this album flew by. And I actually listened to it a second time for this episode. I was like, oh shit, I got enough time to listen to it again. I just let it play again, and it was, you know, I thought this time on this album was great. I mean, with 14 songs, but I don't know what the time for the whole album was, but I thought it flew by, and I didn't think it was too long at all. But yeah, I think it's a great song. Probably maybe my favorite on the album is Wild Ones, just because it's so upbeat and so energetic. For 77 years old, come out with a rocker like that. I mean, Iron Maiden doesn't put a fast one on. Not that it's super fast, but it's just like an upbeat one. Like more of these old school bands need to throw at least one or two. That Deep Purple album that you're praising, there's no real fast songs on it. Like, you know, I like that album, but I would like to throw a fucking one fast song on there, or at least two. You know, be nice. You know, but it's cool that he put in one good upbeat one. I like it a lot.
All right, take the next one. It's up all night, right?
Yeah, Up All Night. It was a bit of like it was a little bit more hair metalish, you know, but I like Alice's energy on the song, and the whole album. Like I was saying, he's got a great energy. It's amazing when you think of how old he is, especially when you look through his whole discography, how his voice sounds. Like it just never changes. Like whether you like an album or not by him, he never like changes his voice too much. You know, he tries to vary it a little bit. Sometimes he doesn't get that nasty snarl kind of voice to him, but it's like it's always good, and he sounds amazing on this whole album. So I'll give him that. But yeah, this song, I thought it was okay, but it kind of had like a little bit more of that like Poison like song, like the hair metalish like vibe to it, you know.
All right, Ian, what do you think of Up All Night?
Well, this is one I definitely didn't like the first time I heard it. You know, Black Mamba loved. Uh, you know, Wild Ones, I was like, but it grew on me. And then this one, I was like, oh, this is totally what I was afraid of. This song has grown on me. But overall, this is some Sammy Hagar level shit fucking lyrics. The lyrics are terrible. And that's something I've seen a lot of hate for this lyric, or I mean, for this album online. Um, and if you kind of pay attention to who's writing it, it's people who tend to be more like they like, Poison Alice Cooper, Feed My Frankenstein, are more like that era Alice Cooper than the original Alice Cooper group. Uh, but this one, like, I don't know. It's not that good. I have a theory that if this was cut down to 10 tracks, this album would be, in my opinion, the greatest Alice Cooper album since 1971's Killer. And I'm going to tell you, 10 songs make the fucking list and 4 songs don't. The first 2 make the list. This one does not. This is some Sammy Hagar shit, even though it's way better than anything Sammy Hagar has ever done. But no, I would take this off the list, and I don't think this should have been released to promote the album. Not a fan, but I still don't hate it. What do you think, Ralph?
I like this song. I think it's fun. It's a fun tune. I'd keep it on here. It's got a good little flow. It's just fun. It's a fun song. I do hear a little bit of classic Alice, but mostly modern Alice on this song. But there are little hints of classic Alice. What's the next one?
Kill the Flies.
Oh, this one I like a lot. This one totally reminds me of old school Alice with that sense of humor Alice has in the lyrics. This is a good song. It's probably my third favorite on the album. Ralfus?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too. Kill the flies. These damn flies. I'm gonna kill these flies. It kind of reminds you a little bit of the Ballad of Dwight Fry when Dwight Fry played Renfield eating the flies and stuff, and then Halo of Flies off of Killer. The production's great on this one, and a lot throughout this album, I find things that kind of reminisce with old Alice Cooper. Maybe not all the way to the original band, but a lot of the same kind of sort of themes and feelings and vibes throughout it all, which I think is really cool. But yeah, this was one of the best songs I thought. Killing the Flies.
Right on, Ian.
All right, currently my favorite song on the fucking album. I love this one. This is Alice Cooper. This is like 60s music meets, the first New York Dolls album meets Alice Cooper. So good. This is what chemistry sounds like. And I think this is what's so important, like with bands, when they're in their initial stages, there's not just one guy ruling it. It's like everybody has a say. And I think that's a problem with a lot of Alice Cooper. It's like whatever he thinks and the producer thinks makes the cut. And then plus there's just musicianship. Like Alice Cooper's current live band is fucking amazing. They can play any Alice Cooper song ever recorded, period. They can play it note for note, but they can't write it. And this is the real group, the real Alice Cooper group, writing it, playing it, everybody's got to say, oh my God, this is so good. So good. My favorite track. You're going to hear that like on so many tracks, my favorite track, but it keeps going back and forth because they're all so amazing. Fuck, this song kicks ass. Next song, One Night Stand. Holy shit. I gotta change my fucking my backdrop here for a second. Because I'm gonna tell you what album this should have been on. Right here. This is some killer shit right here. One Night Stand. Oh my God. Do they still have it? Yes, they still have it. This is some serial killer rock. It just fits perfect with that shit. It's like, some chick thinks she's just giving him a chance, but she's going to bed with a serial killer. It's so Alice Cooper. It's so fucking like real Alice Cooper. Not that fucking blackout period bullshit. that people are like, oh, it's so it's fucking horrible. It's so bad. Alice Cooper remembers it, but he won't admit that he remembers it. This is real Alice Cooper. I love it. This song is fucking fantastic. What do you think, Count Ralfus?
I really like this one too. It's I like that really like cool like descending bass lines that goes throughout the whole song, and then it's got like a weird like gothic sounding feeling to it. Maybe like the chorus breaks it back into classic Alice Cooper, but it has like a weird gothic feeling to it. It definitely separates itself from the rest of the songs, and I think it's really fucking cool that he comes up with something like it's not all the same, you know, like he's all over the place, and it's fucking awesome. Really cool.
Uh,
Ralph?
yeah, I like this one a lot. This one I think harkens back the most off this album. This is total 1973. I hear the Alice Cooper group all over this. It's totally like if Alice was to release this in his solo career, I'd be like, "Nah, that sounds like the Alice Cooper band, you know? It's great. What's the next one?
Blood on the Sun.
Oh, second favorite. This song rules. I remember when I listened to this album as a whole, I didn't think any of the songs really grabbed me the first time. I had to listen to it a few times. This one, every time it comes on, I was like, fuck, this is a good one. It's up there, man. My second favorite on the album. What do you think, Ian?
Uh, I love this one. Not quite Halo of Flies, but four guys almost 80 years old. It's incredible. Better every time I hear it. And again, I'm going back to, uh, I think when we were younger, we gave more of a chance to stuff. And I really think like if this wasn't, an Alice Cooper album with the original lineup, I would have listened to it once, half-assed, made a judgment, never gone back. And I'm so glad this is one that I've done that with because it just keeps getting better and better. And again, it makes me rethink like how many albums have I not given a chance to that I should go back to? But then I think about my age, like I'm an old man. It's like, should it catch me the first time or should I give albums more chances? It's very rare that stuff like catches me, like I even talked about already, the Deep Purple album. But I will say this, the Deep Purple album caught me right away. Right away. Did it get better with repeated listens? Yes, it did. But right off the bat, plus one got me. This one, not so much, but I'm like, I gotta give it more of a chance. It's these guys, man. It's the group. It's the real Coop, And this one is just amazing. Yes, it doesn't reach the heights of Halo, but it's in the ballpark. And again, for people at their age to come, like to me, this hits the mark much closer than anything Sabbath did on 13. You know what I mean? As far as like catching, the feel of the original band and the original era. Just amazing. What do you think, Count Ralfus?
I like God is Dead on 13, but yeah, I mean, like it's like you're saying about how we don't give things a chance. It's such a shame. Like I can't tell you how many extreme metal bands I listen to where everything I hear is like, I mean, everybody's top notch, everybody's fucking tight as hell, and they're perfect sounding. Like I'll go listen to something, go, oh, this is fucking killer. And then I'll never listen to it again unless they're coming on tour and I'm going to the show and I have tickets to go, and then I'll throw it on again because it's just too much of everything out there. But yeah, I thought this was like a mellow one, but it definitely had like that old school Alice Cooper vibe, and another really good one, but I just it wasn't one that like caught me right away, but it's it's like I gotta say too is I only listened to this album like three times in entirety. I just haven't had the time to really fucking absorb it. But I remember the second time I heard it, I was like, oh, I remember every song, which is a good sign if you can remember shit. Where that's the problem with death metal and stuff like that is like I don't really remember it because you really have to listen to it a ton of times to absorb it, especially the more technical it is, the more you have to like give it time to get into your bloodstream or whatever. But yeah, I thought it was a cool song though. Another cool one. I like it.
All right, we'll take the next song. Crap that gets in the way of your dreams.
Yeah, well, lyrically, I mean, right away, it kind of reminds me of I'm 18. It's like it has that teenage angst, I guess, which Alice Cooper is so fucking cool for a 77-year-old to still kind of have that, and he's got like, that's where he comes from, and he's still kind of throwing out that vibe all these years later. And I thought it was really fucking cool, He's like you wouldn't think it's a 77-year-old singing that song, it's fucking awesome.
All right, Ralph.
I don't like this one. This is one I definitely take off the album. It's silly, and everything before it was so much better. This one, and believe me, every time I hear it, I don't think it's the worst song on the album though. That's coming up, but it doesn't do much for me. I didn't like this one.
All right, well, I'm right there with you. This is the second song I would remove from the album. To me, this is one that's closest to modern Alice Cooper solo albums. Doesn't sound like the Alice Cooper group. I don't hate it. Again, there's nothing like, that's so, there's no like thrill my gorilla, here. But, it's, there's so much better shit on here. Uh, but if we're keeping with my rule of 10, there's 4 songs that gotta go, and this is the second one that's gotta fucking go. I'll take the next song, number 8, which is Famous Face. Uh, and holy shit, this is the second lead vocal from Michael Bruce, the first time since the amazing, I don't give a fuck what anybody says, Easy Action. Michael Bruce here with Famous Face. I love it. Michael Bruce singing lead vocal. I'm here for it all day. I love this track. I think it fits in with the vibe of the album. I've been kind of looking like if you look at the writing credits for the biggest hits of the Alice Cooper group, the original group, Michael Bruce is all over it. And this is one of his songs. And I've been kind of like, if you look like the last 3 or 4 albums, there's a couple songs here, a couple songs there that the original Alice Cooper group, is part of. And the ones that Bruce had a hand in writing in are like terrible. And I'm like, man, did he just like lose it? Is it, what's going on here? And then I hear this one and it just gets better and better every time I hear it. I love hearing his vocals. To me, kind of close to Alice, but I love like Beautiful Flyaway. He sings on Easy Action, and one of my favorite tracks on Easy Action. I love that, and I love this. Great track. What do you think, Count Ralfus?
Well, I didn't write down much for this one. I just I thought the lyrics sounded interesting, and it's sort of like anti-drinking in a way. I mean, not anti-drinking, maybe just learning from your lessons, kind of like vibe from what he's trying to say. But I haven't listened to it enough to like really like give it a good deep like thought to it. But I thought that it was cool. I think like the whole album is pretty cool. Like it is not like I hate, but I like the idea of like 10 songs you got to cut off 4. Like that's a cool like way to go about everything. Because then I would if I knew that was like a thing, then I would have looked at this album differently, and I would have picked 4 to fucking chuck. With that, I'm gonna start doing that. If I ever come back on again, I'll do it that way. That's cool.
Awesome. What do you think, Ralph?
I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. It does have an old sound, but also a modern sound. And I don't know. I just found the singing kind of lazy. I didn't think much of it. This would be one of that I would eliminate. All right, what's next? Money
Money
Scream.
Screams.
I like it. Doesn't sound like the classic stuff, but it's okay. I don't hate it or love it, but I like it. That's how I feel about Money Screams. Ian?
Yeah, I would cut this one. To me, this is right up there with Money Talks. I don't know. Maybe people need to stop talking about money in a song unless you're Pink Floyd. Uh, yeah, this one I'm like, eh. It's nya 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 nya. You know, it's too fucking happy and it's stupid. It's stupid. Money talks. Money talks. Shut the fuck up, money. I don't know. Maybe I want to hear Crypto sing a song. This shit's fucking. This shit's not too good. Not too. Again, still, there's much worse than this shit out there if you listen to modern music. But this is not on par with the great Alice Cooper group, and this is one I would definitely take off. What do you think, Count Ralfus?
Yeah, money doesn't talk, it screams. Yeah, ACDC reminder. And then Billion Dollar Babies, he comes to mind, and it makes you think of this little ditty.
There you
It's
go.
Nice.
printed on a $1 billion bill, you know. But yeah, it's like hard rock. It's kind of like cliche-ish money kind of song, yeah. But nothing special about it. But definitely, it's like I said a lot of times throughout this album. There's topics that kind of bring you back to earlier classics by Alice Cooper, and this is one of them. It even says "Billion Dollar Babies" as the song is finding out. It's like "Billion Dollar Baby," as the song is fading out.
All right, Ralph,
Awesome.
before you go into the next song, I just got a text that I have to share with everybody.
What'd you do now, you son of a bitch?
This is some news. We need this news. Geralissimo Francisco Franco is still
Is
dead.
dead.
He's still dead. It's been over 50 years. The guy is still dead. All right,
Oh,
Who's still dead?
you you young kids will never remember that shit.
Ralphus, you don't know what I meant by that?
I couldn't hear exactly. What did you say?
Uh,
Just who's dead?
Geralissimo Francisco Franco is still dead.
I don't know who that is.
That's,
Saturday Night Live.
that's an old Saturday Night Live skit from like seven. It's like 50 years old now.
So what are they making fun of? What are they making fun of with me? Why would it
No,
be
it was
directed
just
at me?
in the news. Chevy Chase would do the news, and he
Oh,
and this
all
just
right.
Geralissimo still Franco is still
All right.
he would he would
I
do
get
it.
you.
He would do it week after week, and it always got a laugh.
Oh, yeah. Chevy Chase, they'd have
Yeah.
Garrett Morris would come
Yeah,
out and
then
say,
there was the one with Garrett Morris where he goes, "Tonight's news is for the hearing impaired."
Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Chevy Chase would go, Geralissimo still Franco is still dead, and then Garrett Morris would go, Geralissimo
Yeah,
still
yeah.
dead.
Yeah, I can meet him right now in October. He does there's a local horror convention where I've met, like, I've been going so many times. I kind of stopped the last couple of years because it got ridiculously expensive. But anyway, Garrett Morris is going to be there in October.
Oh, get him to
He's
sign the
still, he's
stuff.
still alive and he's still fucking
Yeah.
out there screaming.
Get him to sign the stuff.
Yeah.
1984.
Ask
Oh
him,
yeah, the stuff. Man.
ask him about Geralissimo Francisco Franco. All right, what song are we on?
Oh, shit. What a Sid.
Uh, this one kind of reminds me of Blue Turk and Gutter Cats, and also it has a lot of the same vibe as Stray Cat Strut by the Stray Cats. I caught on to that. I was like, this reminds me of Stray Cat Strut, but it also has some of that Blue Turk and Gutter Cats. I liked it. It wasn't bad. What do you think, Ian?
Oh, the minute I heard this, I just fucking came in my pants. This is some Schools Out shit, which is all songs you named off of school. I know you're not the biggest Schools Out fan, but I'm a huge Schools Out fan.
I like those songs I mentioned, and I love the title track.
Right. God damn, I love this fucking. This is my Alice Cooper right here. Everything about this, like I see people shitting all over this, and then you kind of like, because I'll do that when I see somebody write something so stupid on Facebook. I'm that petty. I'm gonna go look at your shit and see what you're into, because 9 times out of 10, you're just as fucking dumb as I fucking thought you were, and you have just as shitty taste as I thought you fucking had, you know. But I hear this song and I'm like, this is what I was raised on. This is fucking, through Muscle of Love, Alice Cooper. The jazzy, the different tones and stuff. I fucking love this shit. And, it's funny, like I listened to this album, I don't know how many times today. And then I listen to some different shit. I listen to like some, Fu Manchu, some stoner fucking metal shit. And then I listen to David Lee Roth, fucking Crazy from the Heat, and I hear something like fucking Coconut Grove. And then I hear something like this, and it's like people who had that appreciation for the old school and what came before and what's timeless. Like I hear this shit is like timeless when it's done right. I don't care if it's metal or if it's whatever, there's certain music that just hits people. And Alice Cooper gets it. David Lee Roth get that ba ba da shooby doo wah. That wasn't hip in 1978, but they made it sound fucking awesome. And the same way that the Alice Cooper group did this shit in the early 70s and the way they're doing it now. But this is the kind of shit that I love that you don't hear on Paranormal or fucking Road Stories or Detroit Rock fucking whatever or fucking Dragon Town, that fucking horrible piece of shit, This is my shit right here. I'm so fucking happy. This one makes the fucking cut. I love it. What do you think, Ralph?
I already talked about it, Ralph.
Okay, Ralphus.
So I love what you said about looking up the idiot that fucking left the fucking stupid comment, because that makes my day. It's like, yeah, this guy's fucking crying about something I said, and then I look at who he is, and I'm like, what a fucking little faggot loser this motherfucker is, and I'm like, fuck him. I'm glad I fucking made him cry. It makes me proud that I'm like, I do that all the time. Like, let's see what this little pussy looks like. Oh yeah, kind of guy that would fucking run and hide under a table if he was face to face with me. But anyway,
Yes.
yeah, fucking I smoke and drink my cares away. I love this fucking song. It sounds like it reminds me a lot of like 16 Tons by Tennessee Ernie Ford. It's like got that fucking total
Yeah.
fucking like kind of riff going, but it's just like they're doing different lyrics and stuff, and they modernized it to like our generation of fucking people drinking and smoking. It's great. I think it's really cool. And again, it's not like every other song on the album, which is cool. It's not like 14 songs of all the same songs, like it's not 14 AC/DC songs, like each song's got like a personality, and it's not boring, whether you like a song so much more than the other song, whatever, it's not boring because it's all over the place, and I think it's fucking cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, Count Ralphus, why don't you take the next song? I got to look this one up so I pronounce it right.
Intergalactic.
Vagabond Blues.
Yeah. Not a huge harmonica fan, but the title has the word blues in it, so I guess it's appropriate to have some harmonica in it, and it's not the only time harmonica flows in this album, but yeah, it's cool, it doesn't not like a big standout song for me, like I could do without harmonica. Once you heard harmonica a couple times, you're
I,
good,
I hate the fucking harmonica.
Yeah, fuck the harmonica.
Yeah, this song, it's rocking,
Yeah, it's all right.
but it would definitely be one I'd take out. This one doesn't do much for me, but it's not offensive. It's not like that crap, whatever, the crap you take, whatever. It doesn't offend me that much. It's rocking. I'll sit through it, but not really a fan. I think it's filler. Ian?
I fucking love this song. Fuck yeah, more classic Cooper to me, and to me, it's just proof that lineups matter. Because on a solo album, who's gonna say no to fucking Cooper? You know, as long as him and the producer like it, it's gonna make a pass. You know, but this is Alice Cooper to me, and I love the harmonica. To me, that throws back to like fucking Easy Action, Love It to Death, Killer, shit like that, man. I fucking love this fucking track. Uh, and stellar, and it's one of those, like when I hear these songs later in the album that are kicking my ass, I'm like, fuck, why didn't you take some of these other filler songs out? You could have had a just such a concise fucking album, and they should know better because they come from that era where it had to fit on two sides of vinyl. If it didn't, you fucking cut that shit. If you want to make it a B-side, that's fine. There's plenty, like all the songs I would take off of here, I think would be fine B-sides. There's nothing here where I'm like, this is like some crazy, crazy night shit. You know, no. They're okay, but they just don't make the cut or save it for filler on the next album. But then I get it, like you're 80, there's probably not going to be a next album, but I don't know. Anyway, I love this fucking track. I'll look at the next one. The next one is What Happened to You. Now, this is a tough one. This is a tough one because this is one that features guitar work from the late, great Glenn Buxton. Such an important part of the original Alice Cooper band. But if you're being honest, after Killer, he was kind of gone. On School's Out and Billion Dollar Babies and Muscle of Love, a lot of people are filling in for Glenn Buxton because he's just too fucked up. And it's okay. It's not a bad song. But if I'm trying to make the best fucking Alice Cooper group album I can make, this one's going to make the cut. I'm sorry. This one's getting cut. Like it, don't love it, but there's a cover coming up next that's going to make it. This one ain't, my opinion. What do you think, Ralph Vieira?
I would keep this on the album, but even keeping it on the album, it's a filler track. It's not bad. And plus, like the whole Glenn Buxton thing kind of makes up for it. Just to hear Glenn Buxton on the song was nice. It's a fun song. It's not bad. But if, keep it on the album, it'd be my least favorite. Because my least favorite, we still haven't talked about yet. All right. That's all I got.
Count Ralfus?
All right, so yeah, it's not one of the best songs on the track, but I think it's maybe the most important song on the album, just because he's there, and it's so cool to find like something that they could put in. I remember when the guitar player from Voivod died, they did like a whole album, like they put together stuff that he had laying around. Supposedly Tony Iommi has like fucking crates and crates of fucking riffs. Like we might get 200 years of fucking Tony Iommi songs coming out in the future, if he passed away and they just kept releasing shit. I mean, you think of how many albums Jimi Hendrix has put out after he died. Like we might have 1,000 fucking Tony Iommi albums coming out. But yeah, like I said, I think it's the most important song, and I like the song. It was just really cool that they took the time to find something that they could put together and say, hey, let's use this song and work around this riff or whatever. It's awesome.
All right, well, why don't you take the next song, the cover? I believe it's a Yardbirds cover. I Ain't Done No Wrong.
It's got more harmonica in it, and it's very bluesy, and it's cool for that. But I mean, when it comes to like doing like a blues song, it just all fucking sounds the same kind of. It gets boring. I think it's like yeah, it's cool. It sounds like good. Alice is great. So anything he's doing, I'm interested in. So I'm not gonna like diss anything on this album, but it's just one of those ones. It doesn't really stick out to me because I just heard enough blues songs and harmonica songs.
All right. I'll take this one. Uh, I love this one. Uh, yeah, it is a cover, and I kind of feel bad saying I would take the previous song, which features Glenn Buxton, off there, but I would keep this one on. The reason is the spirit of the song and the sound of the song uh, sounds like Alice Cooper group to me more than the last song. That sounds like something kind of somebody fucking, kind of what it is. Like somebody wrote a new song and said, "Hey, we got some tapes of Glenn Buxton. We'll throw it on there and call it a fucking song." And it's kind of like, what was the shitty Beatles song they did without Real Love? Real Love sucked. The other fake Beatles songs were good, but Real Love sucked. This is like Real Love. Well, the previous song was like Real Love. But this one, it's a cover. It's a Yardbirds cover. I love the fucking Yardbirds. And this one's kick ass, and I would keep it on the album. What do you think, Ralph?
This is a song I hate on it. This is the worst song on the album. I don't
All
like it
right.
at all. I got nothing nice to say about this song at all. This
All
is
right.
the worst. All right, we go to the last song, which is "See You on the Other Side," right?
Yeah. Well, last song for the regular edition, yes.
Yeah, no, I don't. Do you want to talk about those crap? Well, yeah, of course you do because you like those stupid albums.
Yes.
But I like this song a lot. This came out right when Ozzy died, this album.
Yeah.
And I couldn't listen to Ozzy. And when I listen to this song, yeah, it's probably written about Glenn Buxton. Definitely not written about Ozzy, but boy, does it fit Ozzy. Listen to the lyrics. It's a good moody tune. I think it's a great ending to the album. I love See on the Other Side. Thought it was great. I like it more than the Ozzy song See on the Other Side.
I
That's
was
right.
gonna say, yeah.
I said it. All right. That's what I think. What do you think, Ralfus?
Yeah, just like the same thing. As soon as you hear the title, you think of the Ozzy song, and then the timing of it, and you think of like Ozzy litters like his last 5 or 6 albums with song titles that make you think that he's gonna pass away. He's definitely thinking about death. He's always couldn't believe that he lived as long as he did. Where Alice, he's doing this at the end of the album, and it's mainly like you say, it's maybe probably because of Greg, like that he's singing it about, not about him, because he's not living. I don't know. He doesn't seem to be obsessed with death like the way Ozzy kind of was, and you know, Alice is like seems like he's just always looking forward to the next tour, and if, the guy just fucking if he's not touring, he's putting out an album. The guy is maybe the most busiest. I don't know anybody that you can put up against what Alice Cooper has done in his career. Like there's just nobody like him. And he had all the crazy drug years and all the blackout years and all that shit. And there's no one you could put near him. He's unbelievable. And yeah, fucking another really cool song. Just Alice Cooper is one of the guys that we should be really happy he's still with us and still out there killing it. I seen him with the Hollywood Vampires a couple of years ago, and he's out there doing Doors songs and doing all these other band songs, and he fucking sounded amazing doing it. And then a couple of years before that, I seen him with Alice Cooper band. I'm going to see him again coming up, and he's just a fucking machine. And we're so lucky to still have him with us. And yeah, I love him. That's it.
Right on.
All right. Well, I'm the guy I hate the fucking ballads. I am not the fucking ballad guy. And I don't coordinate this shit anything to do with fucking Ozzy. To me, in my head, when I hear this is all about Glenn Buxton. Uh, and I love this fucking song. I love it. I think it's a good way to end the album. Uh, by no means my favorite track on the album, but I think it's a fitting way and a good way to end the album. And, I mean, this whole album is a great way for Alice to apologize for releasing something as shitty as Dragon Town, one of the worst fucking albums ever released. I mean, Dragon Town is like fucking elder bad. That's how horrible that shit is. Um, but this is good. It's kind of one of those things. It's like I think it like lyrically, it's very sweet. I am not one of those who thinks you get to see your loved ones when you die. I think when it's over, it's over. But I mean, if you believe that fairy tale fucking bullshit, great. It's a great song and a great ending. I still dig it. I think it's awesome. I love it. I think it's a great way to pay respect to Glenn Buxton. Uh, it's awesome. But in my opinion, even though like this is the end of the rating system, like I picked the 10 that I would love and the 4 I think you should take off of this. The next 2 songs I think like kind of elude from that because they are truly bonus. They're on a separate disc. But I think they deserve mentioning. Uh, you know, and I am one of those who loves easy action. So the next song is Return of the Spiders 2025, which is kind of misleading because I do not believe, at least to my ears, that this is a 2025 recording of this. I believe this is like going through the old tapes and finding a different version they did of this. I could be wrong. I don't know. It happened once. But I love this fucking track. But then again, I love Return of the Spiders on Easy Action. So, what do you think, Count Ralfus?
I don't know those 2 songs, but I got that 10-inch a couple of years ago where it had some of the original guys. I don't know if it was the same songs. I hadn't listened to that enough, but I don't have the bonus songs. But I just wanted to
Okay.
show this really quick. Here's a picture of me with my wife and Alice Cooper. We met him the same week that Peter Steele died. That's why I'm wearing a typo negative hat and a carnivore T-shirt. But I just figured
Nice.
I'd throw that out there since we're doing Alice
Nice.
Cooper.
There we go.
He was
Typo
super,
negative,
super nice.
motherfucker. Typo
Oh,
negative. You
fuck
know
yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah.
Ralph don't know. Ralph don't understand typo negative.
I got a typo negative tattoo right here. Look right there. See it? Right here. Carnivore. Hell yeah. That I love. I was just
All right.
Carnivore.
retribution yesterday.
All right. So, Ralph, do you have this version or you
No,
don't care?
no, but it's on YouTube and I checked it out because I reviewed the record.
Okay.
I did check out both songs. They're fucking and what you said earlier, um, how all this hate for the album that you're seeing online, oddly enough, I didn't get any hate on my review. Everybody who left comments were like, I love this album or it's growing on me, you know? I
Well, that's because Alice Cooper is Palestinian and you have a Palestinian fan base.
that must be it. But
I love the album cover too. Like the album cover, it
Oh,
keeps with that.
it's amazing.
That I always really loved and appreciated Alice's like horror side to him. So to have an
Yeah.
Alice Cooper, I mean, just the name of it, The Revenge. Like the next album to
Oh,
be the son of Alice Cooper, or
yeah.
keeping
No,
up with
no,
those.
no. It's perfect. But I've seen a lot. Like I'm on a lot of Alice Cooper fan pages, and there is a lot of people. Like it's kind of split. Like some people say it's the greatest thing, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, the lyrics are fucking horrible. This is the worst music ever." And but then again, like I do like you do. I'll do a deep dive. I'm like, how retarded is this motherfucker? They're like, oh, the greatest
Well,
Alice Cooper album, is Hey Stupid, you know?
oh yeah, when it
Yeah,
comes to just any kind of reviews on any movie
right.
or any fucking, unless I know the person reviewing it, I just don't even fucking acknowledge
Right.
that someone's putting it down or whatever. It's like what they might hate might be my favorite thing. Oh, he's singing about dead babies. Oh, well, I love that. Let's keep it going. Let's do a whole Dead Babies album.
Yeah,
Right.
Alice
yeah.
Cooper.
If you drive me nervous was on this album, they'd say, "Man, that's a stupid lyrics. That's a
Yeah.
stupid."
Yeah.
Or you
Yeah.
put, yeah, you put yeah on here.
Yeah.
It'll get that kind of reaction today. But if those same people heard "You Drive Me Nervous" and yeah from Killers back then, they think it's great.
You bring up a great point. All right. Well, so if you didn't like that, then chances are you're not going to like the last bonus, which is Titanic Overture, which I'll even admit it's kind of like a throwaway. But to me, the thing that's cool is like it's off Pretty's for You, which is not a good album. But it goes back to the first thing they ever did. So I appreciate the fact they went back to the very, very beginning. But I mean, it's like a minute and 27 seconds. It's kind of a throwaway track where I feel like, Return of the Spiders 25, is like, wow, that's kind of something else. But I love this fucking album, man. I'm so fucking excited that we have this. I hope we get another one. Who knows?
The way he works, man, he'll be putting something. He's probably already got half an album done. Knowing Alice.
Yeah. Well, I
With
would
his
think
other
if
band, he's probably actually got a double album ready to go because this was all with a whole different band. So his other band probably
right.
fucking got two
Well,
albums ready to go.
and like I said earlier, I think that's a problem. The live band that Alice has right now, with like Glenn Sobel and Chuck Garlic and fucking Tommy and Nina
Nina,
and the Santa Maria and all whatever the fuck they got. You know what I mean? They can play the phone book when it comes to the old shit. What they can't do is write the songs like this band can. You know, and even if you go back, look at the songwriting credits on the albums he's done over the last 20 years. He's pretty much had the same touring band, but if you look at when he does albums, it ain't those motherfuckers. It's other people, and that's the problem.
so the tour coming up with Judas Priest. I wonder how many of these new songs they're going to be playing. They got to
I
be
don't, I
the
don't.
regular
From what
touring
I've
band's
seen,
got to learn all these songs.
from what I've seen so far, he's not playing stuff off this album on the new tour
Wow,
so far.
wow.
Which is kind of cool and sucks in a way because everybody's like, well, are you going to do shows with the original band? And he keeps throwing it back to like, well, these old motherfuckers can't play like I can play,
Yeah,
which I'm sure to a certain degree there's something to be said for that. This guy has never stopped fucking touring.
oh yeah, he's that fucking
He's
machine.
built up where these other guys are weekend
Oh
warriors,
yeah.
if that, like if fucking Neil
I would
Smith,
think though that his new band, I would think his touring band would have to learn a couple songs though to promote the album.
right,
Just a
but in a
couple, like
way,
two songs, like the average amount
right,
of songs for a
but
new
in a
album.
way, I think it's kind of disrespectful to play it without the original band. As much as I want to hear, like, I want to hear Black Mamba, and I know his current touring band can play it perfectly.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't want to hear them play it. I want to hear the
yeah,
Alice Cooper group play it.
yeah. He's
But
got 22
but
albums with the other band, 22
right,
albums with the one band, 8 albums with the original.
right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, whatever.
But I mean, if you look at Mike Bruce, he looks like if he eats like a really hard pastrami sandwich, that might kill him. You know, So it's kind of a catch-22. But I'm so excited about this album, man. I love it. It's amazing, man. It's amazing, and it does. It really makes me think like I need to go back and give some other albums, a fair shake. Because this one I wouldn't have done if it wasn't for the fact of who this was. I wouldn't have done that. So how many other? Because I've had all these other people message me lately about all this Ozzy. Ozzy's dead, so all this shit. I don't, from Osmosis on, I fucking hate every Ozzy album. But I've always done I've listened to it once and then I'm done because it never catches me. So should I go back
Yeah,
and
I
do it
just
again?
thought of a nightmare scenario. Imagine this scenario. You're a fucking 15-year-old and you find this new Alice Cooper album and he becomes your favorite fucking band. So now you got to deep dive 30 fucking albums, not including the fucking 1,000 live albums and this and that. You're a brand new fan to the Alice Cooper from this fucking album. And now you got to go backwards 30
Well, which
fucking
album is
albums.
the one that makes you a fan? This one?
The new one, the brand new one.
Oh,
He's 15 years
oh.
old. He just fucking gets the new album. Never heard Alice Cooper before, but he loves
Well,
this new
well,
album.
then
The
you're
Revenge of
safe
Alice
because
Cooper.
with fresh ears, you'll go back and you'll say, the blackout period sucks. It's not that good of fucking albums. So you won't be like all the other oh, the blackout period.
It would take you a fucking year to just hear all the albums as a fucking 15-year-old. And then to absorb any of it, you wouldn't know when the fuck the blackout era was or whatever. You just think 30 fucking albums and you would try to fucking, if you didn't know school's out even because you're just a 15-year-old that never listened to radio, you only knew Spotify or whatever the fuck it is. Like, just imagine a kid today. Like, I always find it funny when I see like a kid with like a Cannibal Corpse shirt. He's 13 years old at a show and he's wearing a Cannibal Corpse shirt. Like, they got fucking like 15 albums now, It's like this kid just found, he's 13, he's just found them and they got 15 albums. Like, when I was 13, no one had 15 albums out. Like, I don't know
Hey,
any band that was 15 albums in. Like, Black Sabbath had like, good amount, and certain bands were getting close to that, but it wasn't like today. Like, everybody's got the 30 albums. I can't imagine a kid today finding that would be just a nightmare scenario to me. That was the case, being a 15-year-old finding Alice Cooper and falling in love with the brand new album and then having to deep dive back fucking 29 albums.
to quote
Insane.
Dr. Fuck, Cheap Trick never sold out Wembley Arena.
Oasis.
All right. Well,
Cheap Trick.
fuck it.
Cheap Trick is playing the fairgrounds by me like 2 weeks. They're playing at a fairgrounds. You buy the ticket to get into the fair, the local fair, and Cheap Trick is for free.
There you go. All right. Well, that is our review of the Alice Cooper group's The Revenge of Alice Cooper. Now it's time to go into Pick of the Week. And Count Ralfus, since you are a special guest, what is your Pick of the Week?
What do you mean?
Like
You
Pick
got
of
to
the
pick.
week.
just
You got to
pick
pick
an
it
album
out.
that you've been listening.
You've never heard this show before, have you?
All right. You know what I've been going crazy with? Okay, it's perfect though, because I just have it sitting right here. But so I'm reading Ian Gillan from Deep Purple's autobiography right now. So all week I got this fucking really cool like set. It's a CD set, but it looks like 7 inches. But it's all the Ian Gillan solo albums. You know,
Nice.
it's like such a cool like set to get it all like in one thing and
No laughing
you
in
know.
heaven, God damn it.
Yeah, so I just been listening to Ian Gillan like crazy, and it's cool because I haven't had this for too long, and I'm in the middle. I actually have like 10 pages left of the book, but it's great when you're reading a book about somebody, and then it makes you want to listen to, you know, what you're reading about, which kind of gets screwed up a little bit when we're doing like these episodes and stuff. That's why I haven't listened to the new Alice Cooper a ton, because I'm always listening to either whatever I'm reading or whatever I'm doing homework for with the next episode that we're doing and shit.
Right on. You got something, Ian?
Let's see. What do I have? Let me look here. Oh yeah. So this album got me thinking. Something I know Ralph hates. I know Ralph hates this shit, but there's a couple songs on here got me thinking about the sound of this album, and the era and the influences. And that is the first New York Dolls album, which I think is incredible. You know, New York Dolls is one of those, it's like fucking Sex Pistols. They released one album and then they released a bunch of other shit, but nobody cares because it's all about the first album. I love the first New York Dolls album. I love how it draws the influences of early 70s punk, but yet 60s like doo-wop and different shit. And I totally hear that on this new Alice Cooper album. So it just works for me. I love it. The New York Dolls, 1973 on Mercury Records.
You're right. That's just
my pick. Yeah.
all right. What I'm gonna do, you know, I always randomly pick something. I'm actually,
Right.
hopefully it'll. If not, I'll try again. I'm gonna go to my Alice Cooper section and see which Alice Cooper album I pull out.
That one. That one. No, that one. Right there. Right there. Right there. Right there.
Hopefully, if it's not an Alice album, I'll pick another one. Oh, there's two of them. One that Ian hates. I had Alice Cooper sign it. Dada. I love this album. I love the Blackout Period. And Constrictor. Where were you when the monkey hit the fan? Thrill my gorilla.
My gorilla. My gorilla.
The world needs guts. That song.
Hey, it's all about life and death of the party.
Oh, that's terrible.
You're the life and the death of the party. You got my fist right by the throat.
So yeah, I picked two Alice Cooper albums from my collection. Dada and Constrictor. That's my pick of the week.
Awesome. Well, now I got to go into
Hey, Ian, check out this picture. Check out this picture, Ian. I posted this a couple of weeks back.
Is that you and David Johansen?
Yeah.
Is that you and Johansen? Nice.
Yeah, me and my wife and David Johansen.
Nice. That's awesome, brother. Right on. Right. I don't give a fuck what Ralph says. Fuck it. He likes the Palestinians. You know? Fuck him.
You know,
all right.
Ian, I hate when you hurt my feelings.
Okay. I know. The
I hate this fucking bands that fucking dress like. I always hated these bands that dress like girls. Like I gave Twisted Sister a pass because they look like a bunch of ugly fucking butch fucking linebacker fucking girls. They didn't look like girls really, but it goes back to New York Dolls. They were the first ones that really kind of.
Well, you know who I really hate
that,
is Graham Bonnet. Graham Bonnet dresses like a fucking fag. That's why I hate him. Fucking down to earth.
Oh
sucks. Yeah. He looks like Billy Idol's grandpa.
That's
so weird how they replaced him with him. You know,
how do you replace Ronnie James Dio with fucking Graham Bonnet?
Yeah,
get the fuck out of
here.
Fucking
skinny time motherfucker.
Yeah, I'd rather replace him with Joe Lynn Turner's fucking cosmonaut ass. That fucking Russian fuck. Fuck Joe Lynn.
Replace
Turner
him with Joe Lynn Turner's wig. Compared to
exactly.
Fucking
I like this
time.
guy, Ralph. We're gonna keep him. All right. Well, now we got to go into fan of the week, and fan of the week is somebody.
Shit, this still goes. This goes on forever, huh?
Oh, it
we're
does.
almost done.
This is crazy.
We're almost done.
You got all these extra segments. Now it's fan of the week. We got fan of the week.
No, we got fan of the week. It just shows you never listen to this show, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I
love you.
did, but I might not have gotten to the end where you do all these.
Yeah. You're the new fan we'll let in. But anyway, so we do a fan of the week. And fan of the week is somebody I almost asked to be part of this show, but I know he had like a really fucking shit week. And he was here not too long. The great Chris Senzak from Decibel Geek. Chris had a really tough week. He had to put one of his dogs down.
That's the worst. That's the fucking worst.
Yeah, and it's and I tell you what, Chris is salt of the earth, and that's how I judge people. I don't care like who you're racist against. I'm like how you treat animals, you know, because humans are terrible. Yeah. But how do you treat animals? Yeah. You know, so and this guy had two. Well, he has one still, but you know what I mean. amazing animals that he's given an incredible life to, and he lost one, and he's like the biggest Alice Cooper fan, and he's been one of the greatest supporters of all time for our show. Anybody who listens knows what Chris Sinzak has done for this show. So in
What's his
honor of
name?
him,
What's the name?
Chris Sinzak.
What's his name again? I couldn't.
Sinzak. He's Polish. He's a Polak, but don't
Sinzak.
hold that against him.
Okay.
He's not too,
Sinzak.
he's not
All
too
right.
smart. So if you make a joke, he probably won't get it. But
Hail,
he's a
Chris.
great guy. But no, he's a big part of this show, a big part of our family, and our hearts going out to him for what he's had to do for this week. And plus, he loves Alice Cooper, so we love you, Chris Sinzak.
Yes.
Sinzak.
My condolences, Chris. I hate hearing shit like that.
But on the good news, the dog was Palestinian.
Well, it's not human.
See, I can say that here. I can't say it on your fucking show.
No, you can say on my show. You can say on my show a Palestinian dog is not human. That's okay.
See, there's too many rules. I get confused. Because I would have used that. But no, Chris, we love you. Our heart is with you and Michelle. Thank you so much for everything you've done through the years. Thank you so much to Count Ralfus for joining us tonight, even though he had no idea what he joined. Little did he know what he was in here for.
That's cool, Ralfus.
I do now.
That is Count Ralfus, will you please come back at a later date, join our show again, because we had a really good time with you.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! Let's get into some fucking real fucked up topics, though. Nothing safe like Alice Cooper. Let's go fucking insane.
Yeah, no. Next time, we're gonna talk about deicide, and you can say how you feel about black people.
Oh, and by the way, Ralfus, if you want to get into our podcast, I recommend 2 of our shows for beginners. 1, the worst Motley Crue songs, and 2, Somewhere in Time.
All right.
Where Ian got so drunk on that episode because we had a co-host for the first couple shows. Ian got so drunk he fired our third.
No, that's on Iron Maiden.
That's what
That's
I said.
on Iron.
Time.
Well, no,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not.
awesome.
No, we did.
Yeah, you're right. It was Fear the Dark and No Rest for the Wicked.
Yeah.
That was
But another good one is Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusions 2, where we talk about the virtues of anal lingus.
Yeah, I talk about I want to marry a girl that licks ass. I keep beeping that one word. I want a girl that licks ass.
Black ass.
When I rewatch this, I'll write down these episodes and I'll make sure I watch them. But I did one with Tony Dio on this other channel. I don't even want to give the channel out because it was so bad. Like I had problems. They do that other way of doing YouTube. The fucking way you log in to YouTube. I forget the name of it. But was it? No, not OnlyFans. It's like that other YouTube thing. People use it because they can put up the graphics better or whatever. But anyway, I always have trouble with it, and it was like a live
4chan.
thing where they play. Was that?
Was it 4chan?
No. It was like StreamYard. That's what it is, and so like I was having problems with it, and it just kept cutting out. And I had a bottle of Jaeger with me, and I was going to drink it slowly as we did this like listening party. He doesn't make money on it because he's playing music on his YouTube channel. And people just hang out and like talk about things. And me and Tony Dio both were doing it with him, and my fucking thing was all fucked up and it just kept freezing up and stopping. I couldn't hear. And so I just started doing shots as they were fucking doing it. And it went around, they were playing my picks and stuff. And every now and again, I would come in and I would just like repeat myself. I was so drunk, like probably the drunkest I've ever seen anybody on YouTube. So I don't want people to like go looking for this episode. And I got a lot of shit from people that watched it, like, shut this guy up already, you know. But I didn't
Oh,
think I was even like kind of part of the episode. I thought I was just fucking listening to the music, and I just kept doing shots of Jaeger the whole time, and I got fucking annihilated.
well, come back here, get even drunker, and then you can tell us what you really think about Islam.
Yeah,
You know, that's what I want to hear.
another
We
good.
gotta do we gotta do a contest where we're like every time we get something wrong or something, one of us has to drink a shot. Well, not Ralph. Ralph
I
can be
like
the
that.
judge.
I like that idea. I like this guy, Ralph. We're gonna keep
Hey,
him.
well, if you want to hear me super drunk, listen to the Deep Purple and Rock episode, where at the end of the episode I throw up on the air, and
Oh man.
people thought it was fixed. It wasn't.
No.
And this is the funniest thing. My phone at the time had a ringtone of Van Halen, right? So
Yeah,
so
when I call.
I throw up like crazy, and I pass. And Ian's worried. So Ian calls me, and you hear him still on the podcast calling me, and then my phone's ringing Van Halen, and Ian's like, "Oh, cool, Van Halen." And I'm knocked
Oh,
out.
man.
I'm out. I drank way too much wine that night. I got.
Hey, remember what happened? You woke up in another house that night, right?
Oh man, that night, dude. I shit you not. I woke up the next day on a floor with this other girl like 20 feet away from me, and I'm like, "What? Where the fuck am I?" So I walk out, and I'm like, "What?" And my parents' car is there. I'm like, "What the?" And I see I-95 right there. I was all the way in Hollywood, Florida, which is like a half hour away. And in my drunken stupor, I got in my car, went to my parents' house, took their car to Hollywood to go see some chick. And then Ian left me voicemails, dude, are you alive? And I'm listening to the voicemail, and he's like, man, you puked your brains out. I'm hearing this in a voicemail. I'm like, oh my God, my house is full of puke, you know? And I got home, and miraculously enough, right there next to my computer was a bucket full of puke. I puked in a bucket at least, you know? Yeah, that was an interesting. Too bad that wasn't filmed after that show. But yeah, I passed out.
And you know what's fucked up? The chick's house he went to was Mike Tramp from White Lion.
Yep.
You know what's fucked up is to think like how like unfiltered Ralph is, like how he comes across unfiltered. He's just out here. Imagine if he was still drinking like me and you doing this.
Oh man.
Like how fucking long ago would Ralph have been canceled if he'd been drinking all these years doing these live shows and stuff?
You know, because my old YouTube videos was me drunk. Because I would back then I wasn't doing that many. I would do them on Fridays, and Fridays was the one day I would drink Jack and Coke, and I'd get obliterated. If you want to hear me fucked up off my ass, go listen to the Kiss commentary on my channel, Kiss Meets the Fountain in the Park. I commented on it. I did it in 3 viewings. I didn't do it all at once. I would get super drunk and I'd turn on the fucking video and talk. And yeah, you can hear the really drunk me back then. I used to get really fucked.
I love that.
I'm gonna look all this shit up.
A lot of people think, he's Cuban. He likes Mexicans. No, he doesn't. It was fuck the Mexicans, fuck them all. I mean, he came up with the idea for ice before it even existed.
Hey, but you gotta admit, I'm Cuban. I'm kind of close to Mexican, so therefore I can goof on them. It's okay.
Right.
And
It was good times. It was good. I'll never forget, man, because I discovered Ralph on his Black Sabbath videos, and I wrote him a message saying like, wow, there's, like I've seen all these YouTube videos, but nobody talks like you do. You talk like me. You talk like a fan. You don't talk like and then they played this chord in a 5th diminished minor. And, I'm like, no, you talk like real. and he never answered me. I'm like, fuck this guy. Fuck him. And then we hooked up on fucking Facebook, and the rest is fucking history.
Yeah,
But he
no,
had no idea.
Yeah,
He had no
the first few
idea.
times I watched Almost Human, I didn't know Ralph, and I only knew Tony Dio. I was friends with, so I was watching because he was on it, and I was saying to Tony, I'm like, I like the guy Wadzilla. He's like, he just fucking says anything, he's drinking and stuff. I like his attitude because you were on quite a bit when I first started watching. I remember seeing you on there, and I just like that you had that like fuck you attitude. You know, it was like, all right, this is cool. You know, and then I started really discovered Ralph's whole fucking attitude was kind of like that too, you know. And he's not even drinking and shit, which is fucking even better.
Yeah.
well,
He's the best, man.
I am on something, but it ain't alcohol.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for showing up for this fucking episode. Count Ralfus, I love you, man. Thank you for showing up, brother. You added a lot to the episode.
Count
A lot of fun.
Count Ralph said, "Yeah."
I'll be back.
Count Ralph said to me, that podcast, you're all racist and make fun of Jews. I was like, "Yeah, you want to join us?"
Hey, my Lord and Savior, David Lee Roth is a Jew. Fuck the Palestinians.
Hey,
Fuck the Iranians.
I'm Juban, which means I'm half Jewish, so I can make Jewish jokes. Actually, I can't make Jewish jokes because I was just lying. I'm not Juban, but I am Jewish from the waist down.
Yeah. Just because you're circumcised.
Letting all the illegal aliens, let them all in.
Count Ralph has got that anteater.
All right, guys. Well, it was another exciting episode with Count Ralphus, the first of many future appearances. And
Yes.
for the bobblehead there, and a lot of fun, Ralphus. I knew Ralphus would be good on this episode. So, everybody, thank you. And if you're watching us for the first time, fuck you. Don't subscribe to our channel. We got no room for you. Only old fans are welcome. So kiss my ass. If you like it, kiss my ass some more. Fuck you. You're too late to the party. You're the life.
If you liked or hated this episode, come back next week to the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
Smack 'em a gob.